Testes 1, 2. I see you guys. What's up, JJ Gaston Sweets? And who is that like the avatar? New face, maybe? Old face? I don't know. I'll come say hi as we go. Hugo Hackenbush, I see you there. What's going on? Here we go. Troubled Minds starting right about now.
But I think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Well, let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. 1, 6, 3, 2, 9, 7.
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. Somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, gonna get weird again. It's what we do, really, these days, is just get weird. Because, of course, if you can't imagine it, you can't build it. And if you can't see the bad stuff coming, you can't do a thing about it once it's here. So we're going to go back to the ancient past. We're going to go back to, I don't know, like a little bit of X-Files black goo, if you're familiar with the idea. We've talked about this in the past quite a bit in different ways. But we'll start here. This is as usual, actually, all the disclaimers do apply. If you're here for truth, you're definitely in the wrong place. This is not about truth. This is about possibilities. This is about ideas. This is about mythology and folklore and kind of looking at the world in a different way, in ways that people don't really discuss it typically because, well, you know, it'll get you pushed out of work or whatever. They'll be like, hey, come on, Mike, you can't be talking like that at work. That's ridiculous. So instead, we do Troubled Minds by Dark of Night. So no truth. Just ideas, just possibilities. So bear with me on that. And it's also nice to defer truth when you're looking at these ideas, because that's the whole point is if you can't defer truth, then you can't see possibilities. Okay, that's it. Here we go. Let's start with earth.com. And you guys may have seen this floating around, this article. Zombie fungus that lived almost 100 million years ago found preserved in amber. Does that seem familiar to anybody at all? Bueller, anybody out there? Now, the reason why that's an interesting headline, of course, is because that's the plot of Jurassic Park. You guys remember that? The OG original Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. Yes, indeed. And they found the T-Rex, or they found the velociraptors and all the rest of those weird and wild and wonderful dinosaurs that they de-extincted into Jurassic Park. What the hell just happened? My camera died. We'll shut that off, and we'll get it back to it in a second. But so, yeah, okay, let me read a little bit from this article because this is incredibly wild. One more time, the headline: zombie fungus that lived almost 100 million years ago found preserved in amber. Fine, right? This is totally fine. Straight from the article, zombie fungi that hijack insects are not just a modern forest horror story. A pair of tiny fossils locked in Burmese amber shows that these parasites stalked ants and flies nearly 100 million years ago in what is now Myanmar. The newly described fungi, I'm not going to read this. There's 2 of them, and they are many syllables long. Let's see if we can get some help from Microsoft. Mike, now that we have this technology back, let's see.
Paleophyocordyceps gerontiformicae.
Yes, I won't even try and say it anyway. And so it's very long. They've named these things in a mind-boggling way because, of course, you have to. Otherwise, what do you get? You get what is it? You get I don't know. You repeat. I guess you repeat things, right? Is that what happens as part of it? You repeat the ideas, and then you can't. Anyway, whatever. Yada yada. So the deal is this, right? If you're thinking about it in the Jurassic Park way. Anyway, let me finish this. So study co-author Professor Edmund Jarzembowski of the Nanjing Institute of Geology and Paleontology and London's Natural History Museum helped craft the formal description. Yeah, those 2 very long words I'm not going to try and say. But here you go. So amber from the Hukong Valley captures an ant pupa with a slender fungal stalk and a fly pierced by a second projectile-like stroma. The position of each growth mirrors the way that modern zombie fungi erupt from soft joints after the host's last breath. It's not terrifying at all, is it? This is fine. And paleontologists reconstructed the scene and noted that the ant appears to have been dragged away from the nest before the infection reached its spore spraying stage. Social insects often quarantine sick kin, a behavior already in place during the Cretaceous. Okay, going all the way back, which is amazing. And also terrifying that this type of behavior has been in place on Earth forever, pre-humans, right? So anyway, quote, "It's fascinating to see some of the strangeness of the natural world that we see today was also present at the height of the age of the dinosaurs," said Jarzembowski, reflecting on the familiar menace that infected the ancient insects. The research term counted flask-shaped perithecia, I think it's how you say that, the microscopic chambers where sexual spores mature or on the fossilized stalks. Their arrangement ties the ancient genus to living Ophiocordyceps, even though the lineage split more than 130 million years ago. Okay, anyway, but there's a picture of this thing that they found if you guys are watching the stream, and it is... it doesn't look like you'd want to put it in your mouth. Let's just say that. This thing looks horrifying. And imagine the worst piece of bubblegum you ever found on the ground anywhere, picking it up and putting it in your mouth. Yeah, no, absolutely not. And so, yes, this is, to me, it's difficult because once again, when you look at these ideas and where they come from, and not just what's happening in, let's say, today's space, today's modern world, this type of stuff is happening. There's a long list of these insects that really zombify other species and use them as part of their life cycle. And they need these other species to survive, which is wild. And we talked about in the past quite a lot. What's the one? The cat. What's it called? Toxoplasmosis. That's the one, right? Where the cats and the rats and the life cycle and the thing makes the rats actually want to. They're sexually attracted to the cat urine, which you remember the whole life cycle of this thing, which is bizarre and wild and weird. Okay, but it gets even more weird than that because in this particular case, that's just one example. And there are dozens of examples throughout the animal kingdom currently, which, of course, as you know me, the weird guy that I am, I think about it in terms of what this looked like over the past 60, 80, 100 million years. And what are these things maybe that went dormant and maybe are going to be these fossilized horrors that we're digging out of the amber and recreating through this Jurassic Park sense. And the reason I say recreating, I'll make the case in a second. Nobody's suggesting we're going to do that just yet. However, with all the de-extinction stuff happening, remember the dire wolf, and they're working on a saber tooth, and they're working on the woolly mammoth and all that. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that makes you go, okay, so why would they not try this, or at least get it in their scientific heads of trying this? Anyway, so that's what's on my mind tonight. Sorry for the disjointed intro. The camera broke. I'm trying to fix it on the fly. Do 10 things at once, but we may have to go without it. We'll see. But anyway, let's going to get a quick word from our sponsor, in this case, Human Inspiration. Be right back. More Troubled Minds in exactly 1 minute. I'll try and fix the camera in the 1 minute, and we will be right back. Do not go anywhere. Let me find the thing. It is right there. Okay. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere. In a world increasingly shaped by AI, Human Inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable.
So here I sit, locked in my room again.
Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support Human Inspiration. Available now on iTunes. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to go from the write-up here, and I'm going to try and fix the camera, but forget that. Let's go this. So this is from the write-up again. It's the link in the description on the top after all the intro stuff there, but it is very good tonight. Check it out. But this is kind of sets the scene for what this looks like, because of course, when we're talking about behavioral hijacking of these ancient creepy crawlies, this gets weird because we've talked about ancestral memory and all manner of things. So let me set this up properly. A fossilized horror has emerged from deep time. Trapped in amber for nearly 100 million years, scientists have discovered a fungus that turned insects into mindless puppets. A biological puppeteer long extinct, or so we thought. This ancient parasite, remarkably preserved, hijacked the nervous systems of its hosts, guiding them to their deaths in service of fungal reproduction. The idea is straightforward. A fungus that doesn't just infect, but commands, manipulating the motor functions of its victims to climb, freeze, and release spores like a haunted marionette show from the Cretaceous. And now we found it again. Preserved not just in form, but potentially in function, this discovery invites more than awe. It opens the door to questions no one truly wants to answer. Could such a parasite be revived? If the DNA is intact, the line between curiosity and resurrection becomes thin. We've revived viruses from permafrost already. We've reconstructed extinct genomes from scattered remains. With modern synthetic biology, the idea of bringing back an ancient mind-controlling fungus isn't science fiction. It's a possibility just waiting for a budget. And well, in the acceleration and budgeting wild and ridiculous things, this seems to be inevitable. What's his name say? Agent Smith, inevitable. Yeah, I mean, okay. And so, but this fungus is not like the others. This one didn't simply feed, it overwrote. It hijacked cognition, at least in a rudimentary sense, forcing its host into actions against its own survival instincts. What's chilling isn't the infection, it's the compliance, and that compliance echoes into other domains. And I got a huge list here, a massive list of all these different entities in this in the modern time that operate like this, to hijack cognition of a host entity to continue their replication cycles, to live. Let's see. Hold on. I got a list here. Let me find my list real quick. It is It's a lot. There's a lot of these. And we've talked about it, of course, in terms of that, the toxoplasmosis, right? But there's a Ophiocordyceps fungi. This is a zombie ant fungus, infects ants and compel them to climb to optimal heights and bite onto leaves before the fungus kills them and sprouts from their heads to spread spores, right? That seems fine. That's not terrifying at all whatsoever. And yeah, right. And there's a huge list of these, and I can read them as we go, but you get the idea. Now, the question I have regarding this is that there's a problem here in that it's using other entities, other hosts, other species as its way to survive and continue on by hijacking their cognition and the way they react and the way they, even try and survive themselves. But in this case, this is an ancient one, frozen again in amber this time, not in the permafrost, as we talk about quite often on the show when they find some new weirdness in the tundra of Siberia or whatever. In this case, we're talking frozen in amber, just like Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park, and that whole, we were so concerned whether we could, we never stopped to ask ourselves whether we should or not. And so the question I have as part of this, if these ancient, let's say, what are they? Parasites? I mean, how do you define these things? Because we're talking about the ones lost to history as well, that are yet to be found, because they're out there somewhere. Not all of them. Some of them have probably survived in terms of the amber or the permafrost or other places, right? In other ways. And so the question becomes, if these things have some way of causing entities to do terrible things like this, including, of course, like off themselves, like, again, climb up to the top of the tree before they, kind of stay there and roast in the sun and die. It's a strange thing. But then, of course, there's other ones where they cause the entity, the host, to actually walk and jump in the water and drown themselves, because it's like an aquatic life cycle. It needs to go back on the land to get the ants to go jump in the water. I mean, this is the type of stuff that's terrifying, because it literally hijacks our own cognition. It hijacks everything that we do and everything we think we're doing. And the question I have regarding this is, do you think that it's possible that this type of thing is embedded so deeply within us that we would never know? Because these life cycles, of course, are going to be highly contagious, just like toxoplasmosis. They say that in humans, it causes a massive risk factor. People ride their motorcycles 100 miles an hour, and it's actually been said that the Brazilian soccer teams are the best in the world because they are massively infected with this stuff, like 60 or 70% of the Brazilian population. And again, who knows if that's true or not. But even so, if these things can actually cause issues, cause different behavior in their hosts, and we are these hosts, what the hell has been going on all along? And how much of this are we infected by? And you'll recognize that a lot of times I talk about these human cycles, these longer human cycles, and how come it's 2025 and we're still, going to war and killing each other and doing all the dumb stuff that humans do, right? But I do wonder if something like this is embedded in us and has been forever and has been here forever, and it is as yet undiscovered. Or maybe it's buried so deeply within us, it's part of the breeding process of ourselves. Maybe it's kind of become a symbiotic situation for us. I don't really know, of course, but these types of ideas and finding these zombie fungus from the ancient past, from the Cretaceous, does make you wonder what the hell's actually going on with this. So anyway, okay, so there's a quiet terror in the idea that nature, without wires or code, invented a system of behavioral override millions of years ago. Not with language, not with ideology, but with spores. The implications stretch far beyond paleomycology, which is what we're talking about here tonight. They touch on consciousness itself, which is more my thing, obviously, and why this is incredibly important, because if we don't pay attention to it, then how do we know that something like this hasn't infected us already? And I don't mean like a singular individual, I mean infected society. Yeah, weird, right? Anyway, so they touch, okay, if behavior can be altered by a biological agent, what does it say about the fragility of will, our own willpower to do whatever we're supposed to be doing in terms of autonomy, right? And how much of what we consider thought is just a chemical suggestion wrapped in narrative. So I'll get back to that in a sec, but you get the idea. I have this long list of these entities that are doing these exact things and have been doing them in the modern time. But how much of this actually stays back in the old ways and is, let's say, able to be resurrected? Because that's the type of stuff that makes me go, what in the world is going on with this? Because as you know, it seems like they can't keep their fingers off of modern science can't keep their fingers off of, well, how about we try this and, gain a function this and, do that. And yeah, right. It's fine. This is fine. This is fine. I don't need to tell you guys what that looks like, but you get the idea here. Somebody's going to start meddling with this. And is it possible they're going to kind of crack it open? And that really is what grinds my gears on this. So let's see. Let me get this caught up. I'll try and fix the camera during the break here, but no promises. New software, things crashing. You got to love it, right? Yes. Okay. So in current terms, like the recent de-extinction movements we've been talking about, the woolly mammoth is supposedly coming. As of this month, they say the project is in the advanced editing phase with over 85 genetic modifications across 25 genes using more than 100 mammoth genomes. Okay, the woolly mammoth, which is, again, supposedly they're going to reintroduce it into the wild eventually. What about the thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger? We talked about that recently. The dodo, by July 2025, the dodo's DNA was fully sequenced, so they're working on that. The dire wolf, that just happened at the early part of this year, in January, I believe. They're working on the passenger pigeon, the moa. The Colossal Biosciences added the extinct giant moa bird to its de-extinction wish list. So the list goes on and on and on of what they're actually trying to do and what they're trying to de-extinct. Now, when you think of it in terms of these animals, the passenger pigeon, the dire wolf, or let's say even Jurassic Park style, the T-Rex and the Velociraptor, like that type of stuff, these are animals, okay? These are things that can be, put in a cage. You can shoot them. I'm not suggesting you should or implying anything by saying that, but you can, right? You could detain them somehow or keep them from eating you, okay? But if you create this other thing, this zombie fungus, how the hell do you contain that? And that becomes the problem. You can't put it in a cage. Once it gets released into an ecosystem, it starts thriving and doing its thing. And who knows what the ecosystem was like way back when? We've got some ideas, but we don't know what the Cretaceous looked like exactly. Otherwise, surprises like this wouldn't still be surprises. And yet, here we are, 60 to 100 million years ago, still looking at exact behaviors of these zombie fungus entities that are happening in 2025 out there in the ecosystem. The zombie takeovers of autonomous entities, supposedly. And of course, we're talking about the insect world, but does it get bigger than that? And how much bigger? How much more weird? And let's see. So we got that, the list. Let me make sure we got this. So what's coming in the de-extinction timeline here? The short term, they're talking about passenger pigeons by early 25 or 26. The late 25 or early 26, the initial MOA genome editing and proxy development by Colossal is further testing of woolly mammoth traits in larger mammals. Medium term, 2027 and 28, the birth of the first woolly mammoth like calves via artificial wombs or elephant surrogates, targeted for 2028. Revival of the thylacine, that's the Tasmanian tiger, in 2028. So there's a plan for all this. They're already doing this, and it's been funded by all manner of people that are calling these things miracles. And I'm sure you've seen them. We talked about it when it happened. But suddenly, like I said, if you can't put it in a cage and it's infectious or something, even to, let's say, the not the human space or the human species, but infectious to, let's say, our plant kingdom in modern times, we could have massive problems with this. And like I said, look, I'm not a doom monger saying this is coming and yada, yada. I'm saying there's a lot of things that kind of point toward it that suggest maybe this is on the horizon. And if we don't talk about it and think about it now, then what do we do about it when something like this does come to pass? Okay. And do you think this is possible? Really becomes the question, because look, I don't know, a zombie fungus from the Jurassic or the Cretaceous, that's a long time ago. But can you actually crank these things out, reintroduce them, and what happens when you do? And how weird and wild does it get? That's what's on my mind tonight. I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for bearing with me as I rambled through the first part there. When everything starts breaking, it gets me, right? It gets me. And so, yeah, my mind wanders a little bit. But anyway, so I'm good. I'll try and fix the camera during the break here. If not, we'll just have to do without it. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this. So how weird does it get? And what do you know about this? Is it possible that this is the next step of the de-extinction plan? Because to me, if that's the case, I got to admit, it creeps me out a little bit. It gives me the EBGBs. Look, I don't like creepy crawlies today. But creepy crawlies from the distant past, from the Cretaceous? Come on now. We're talking nightmare fuel. Love to hear your thoughts on this. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More after the break. We got Daryl coming up. We got Joe in Florida and your calls as well. Be right back. Okay. All right. That was a little bit weird, but I kind of liked it. What's up? Hope you guys are well tonight. Yeah, AI music is a thing. And yeah, what do you guys think? Actually, let's say hi. What's up, Eric, JJ, Jeff and Wisco, Mindy, APOC, Sweets, Gaston. We got Ricky, Dawn, Joe in Florida, Lily, and Hirsch. Daryl's first, and then Joe is second. Phone lines are up if you want to be part of the conversation. Just dial that phone number. What is up? Go to YouTube. I see you guys. Thanks for being cool and chill and nice to each other. What's up? Fred gets first. What's up, CV? Ioxy, I see you guys. Good evening. Yeah, it's giving you little crowns, right? If you're first, second, and third. What's up, RC? How are you? What's happening, folks? If I missed you, what's up, Mag is there? I see you. What's happening? The unseen Steve McQueen, welcome back. Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, right. This type of stuff. Lily in Australia, I see you there. Hello, hello. What's happening, folks? We got to the top. Sweets, we got Hiker over there on Rumble. What's going on? Raz, hello, Knights of the Storm, the real JB. How are you? What's going on? Okay, here we go. Trouble Minds coming up. We got Daryl and Joe and your calls as well. And I think I fixed the camera, so cross your fingers. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening in about 15 seconds. And there we go. Y has arrived as well over there at YY on Rumble. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening right about meow. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're going back to the Cretaceous, talking about an ancient fungus. Could a fossilized fungus carry not just spores, but intent? An ancient protocol designed to hijack behavior and wait for sentience to unlock it. What if our myths of possession, madness, and the undead are echoes of real infections from a biological intelligence older than memory? Hey, if that's not nightmare fuel, I don't know what is, but I'll take it because, like I said, we're not talking about it in terms of what could be. Then by the time these things are, it's too late. It is far too late to consider what may come. So what is your thought here? Do you think it is possible that this thing may be lying in wait in these larger, let's say, larger than Baktuns, like a 1,000,000-year cycle, for us to find it and crack it open and let it go and re-engineer it and then kind of let it escape from the lab, you know? Like, not like we've had anything escape from the lab recently or anything, but you know what I'm saying. Suddenly this becomes highly problematic when you scale the idea. So I don't know. As usual, I'm not trying to have a zombie fungus take me over and tell me to stop doing Troubled Minds or to continue it or whatever. I like to think my thoughts are my own. What about you? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. Daryl in New York. Thanks for being patient. You are on to Troubled Minds. How are you? Go right ahead.
Hi, Michael. Great. How are you?
I'm doing my best here, trying to get everything technologically working, and it's a disaster sometimes, but we're back up and running. So it causes me a lot of stress, but I'm good. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
Okay, good. No, this subject just rang a bell with me, a super bell, because I remember about 14 years ago when I was in the thick of, suffering from Morgellons disease. This fellow, Steve Bedingfield, who's very known in the Morgellons community, was telling me about these suicidal ants in South America, and that there's some connection between people with Morgellons and the suicide ants, and he thought some people were infected with the same fungus that they had because there were a lot of suicides among Morgellons patients. And I think that was just the frustration of not getting cured or not being believed or being gaslit, and the suffering that you go through. Some people just end it, but he thought there was a connection between these ants. And the things that you're saying about these things, like, for example, like they try to, the samples of these cells that they discovered in Morgellons patients they could reproduce under conditions that usually would kill life on Earth. They could be at high temperatures, burned at up to 600 degrees, and they still are surviving. And even frozen to whatever frozen degrees. Their replication can occur during these weird conditions. That's why some of them thought there was some kind of alien kind of connection there too. Like there's no creature on Earth, but they also mention like cellulose. It's still on, there's a lot on the fence with Morgellons. It's still very controversial as far as, research goes. But, this rang a bell, and I'm still trying to look up the connection with those suicide ants. I remember he was telling me this. I'm like, they were somewhat manipulated genetically, who knows by who or what, but these ants were killing themselves. Like, that doesn't sound normal. That's not like a normal animal condition.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me read you this one. So I do have a big list, and I probably have that one on my list here. So this is second. It's called Spinochordotus telini, horseworm hair. Yeah, horsehair worm, sorry. It infects crickets and makes them seek out water and jump in, where the worm can complete its aquatic life cycle, essentially making terrestrial insects commit suicide by drowning. Like, that's exactly what you're talking about here. Yep.
Right. Yeah, there's something that would seek water. They increase the pressure, blah, blah, blah. They were these red-walled cells in this rainwater that would seem to thrive, and they would, like, look to go to water. temperature and pressure experimentation, and they found this Corella scientific data that compelled us to do so. Same in experiments on Morgellons fiber. If it's in fact an ET organism, we're facing something that's threatening to life on Earth. Whatever. But they were experimenting with these. I don't know if that has anything to do with drowning.
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay.
I'm sure it's on my list. I'll scan this while you're talking about it.
Yeah, most amazing. They can reproduce that you would usually kill it. All right, I still haven't found. It just that it fits the profile of an ET organism. Weird alien bug. Calling this. Okay, I'm still finding it. I'll have to get back to you on that particular subject if I can still find it. Peer review 20 patients. Even all right, never mind about the Morgellons.
That's okay. If you
wait, but I did find this Clobo. Did you mention Colobopsis bondarisi? There's something from Malaysia. I don't know if you mentioned that. It's called a Malaysian exploding ant or the suicide ant, and they're found in Malaysia and Brunei, belonging to the genus Colobopsis. A worker can explode suicidally and aggressively as an ultimate act of defense. In ability, it also has in common with several other species in this genus and found in few other insects. So that's something to look at. Where did I find that? I Wikipedia'd that. So I didn't look at the other species, though. I should have done that. Okay. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'll get back
if you do find something later and you want to jump back in, definitely. If you find the Morgellons link, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. I think, what else? Most amazing, said Lewis, they can read. Okay, I think that's about all I got for now. I just have a few things to say. Do you know why the amoeba was sad?
No.
His parents just split.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. And what happened to all those bird viruses? You know, the bird viruses that were around? Do you know what happened to them?
No.
They just all flew away.
Zing times
and
two.
One more thing. What do you call it when your biology grade goes from an A to an F?
No idea.
Biodegraded. All right, those are terrible. Terrible. Okay,
They're not what he's talking about. Hey, I tell zero jokes other than the joke is on me. So no. Always welcome. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for telling great jokes. The Cosmic Comic, that's Daryl in New York. You know you love her. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for popping in. If you do find that Morgellons link, please jump back in here. I want to hear it, okay?
I'm still looking. I'll get back to you. Thank you. Have a good night. Great show. Bye.
You were the best. Appreciate the call. That's Daryl in New York. You know where to find her. Please go give her a follow on all the places. troubledminds.org/friends. Simple as that. Check it out. If you haven't checked it out yet, like I say, you're hurting my feelings. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It's alphabetical. It says follow Daryl. Go check out her YouTube channel. She does have some stuff on Morgellons and the paranormal, and she sings in English and French, and she's doing karaoke in our Discord as well sometimes. So pop in there and come say hi and come sing some karaoke or just hang out and listen. Again, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link on top, or of course, /friends and follow Daryl. Please, I would appreciate it very much. And so, so the weird part of this is that this is one of those things that we know it's not a secret. It's not a modern day secret, but it's something that's so terrifying in terms of being hijacked sort of in this zombie manner to commit, but to off yourself. I'll stop saying the word, to off yourself for the life cycle of some other entity. You're completely taken over. You're, again, dying this horrific death, but your final moments or even hours or days are not your own. They are zombified to carry on the life cycle of something else, some other non-human. I mean, because we're talking human in this case. Put yourself in the shoes of the ant or whatever. Some other non-human species doing this to you. And so my question is, do you think that there's something that goes so far back, like what we're talking about tonight, this zombie fungus that lived almost 100 million years ago back in the Cretaceous? Do you think that this type of thing is still out there? Meaning, lost to history. Maybe it's sort of cooked into us now, baked in, as I like to say, and we're still killing each other because of this maybe circular pattern of something. as yet defined, as yet discovered. And maybe it's become something so intrinsic to who we are as people that it's been with us that we don't even notice it. And we haven't noticed it because it's part of our nervous system, or who knows, right? It's kind of just latched on and continues. Every baby birthed or whatever just kind of comes along and is like, oh, cool, here we go again. A new lifetime to corrupt. Like, who knows? And I'm not saying I'm corrupt or you're corrupt or anybody's corrupt. I'm just saying, do you think something like that is possible? And does it worry you that they're finding these things in the time where we're de-extincting animals? Because, of course, the next step is going to be de-extincting these nasty, creepy crawlies, the zombie fungus. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this. If you want to be part of the conversation, 702-957-1037. As you know, nonlinear, open-ended. We can take it wherever you like. That's the whole point of these conversations, is to look at the world a little bit differently and share those ideas together. Let's go to Joe in Florida. What's up, my man? Thanks for being patient. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Just unmute and go right ahead. Test to test. 1, 2. Joe in Florida. Test to test. Test. Just hit the unmute and you should be good to go. There we go. At least you're unmuted. Can I hear you? I can't hear you. Joe in Florida. The technology, right? Test. Nothing doing. Muted, unmuted. Try if you haven't updated Discord today, try that. That's always been the bugaboo for this since the beginning, which took me a year to figure out. They update so damn often, unless you've got some settings on your side that you're trying to get fixed. Okay, I'm going to read this while he's figuring that out. So anyway, so take that idea further. Okay, damn it, yeah, this thing, see. New technology. So take the idea further. Consider the dark potential of reverse engineering this fungal blueprint, as I'm describing. Military interest is all but guaranteed. A bioagent that doesn't kill you, but makes the subject pliable, cooperative, predictable. You wouldn't need to control the body, just tilt decision-making, reinforce certain actions, suppress others. Let the host believe it was their idea. A spore becomes the seed of consensus. Even worse, consider if this fungus wasn't entirely mindless. Nature creates strange things. Intelligence is not exclusive to brains. Slime molds solve mazes. Trees communicate through mycelial networks. We've talked about both of those things on this show quite a lot. A fungus that evolved to manipulate hosts may have developed more than we expect. Not necessarily a personality, not a soul, but a pattern, a behavior that feeds on control, refines it, perfects it across generations of hosts. And that is what's on my mind. And of course, imagine this thing waking up again in 2025 from the Cretaceous. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. Phone line, Joe in Florida. What's up, brother? Thanks for popping over there and being flexible. Go right ahead. You're on Troubled Minds.
Are we finally working? Can you hear me?
Finally working, loud and clear.
Yeah, it's my fault. I've had some audio issues defaulting, going back and forth anyway. Yeah, good subject as far as are we hardwired with that. You know, you kind of think that there is a cycle, and people are born like that. We've talked about it before. Narcissism in leaders, for one reason or another, whether it's because they had cats growing up and they in the litter box bad, when it got in their system. So interesting. What scares me is that as you start to genetically enhance these things and wake them up and make them multiply, what's to keep them, and I'm wondering if this is what you're getting at, what's to keep the powers that be from subtly introducing this into the population, aka mad cow disease, or like I've said before, Crutchfield-Jacob disease,
or Lyme disease.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Or Lyme disease. But Lyme disease. I mean, Crutchfield-Jacob disease in a human makes you act. I mean, you lose your faculties, and it's highly. It's if anything, as a funeral director, a lot of the things they tell you in school is Crutchfield-Jacob. and you're like, what the heck is that? And when you read about it, it's scary. And it's a folded prion, like half dead, half alive, right? So it's just a program. If you wanted to matrix all of this. So what scares me is how would you put it to use, a particular bacteria or fungus, particular fungus for tonight's argument. What happens if you were able to not only genetically wake up extinct animals, but what happens if you were able to put that in humans, modified, and have, it's just totally out of Hollywood. And I feel ridiculous saying it, but a berserker arm. And we have examples of that when, the Nazi army, other armies have used enhancing drugs. You stay up for days or to lose their fear. So, all of this is ethical, and that's where it starts, and where it ends is the real life results, for better or for worse. As we know, worse, because war and whatever this would be put for is the mother of all invention. So then the other thing that scares me is if you're genetically allowed to clone, as we're talking about it, right? If you're cloning things out of amber, whether it's something prehistoric, something recent, but you're cloning it, what are the ethics if you could even add a chip to it? There was a guy in Florida, I didn't read the article, it was a headline that somebody locally here where I live had one of those, Tesla chips put in, whatever they do. So what happens if you mix both of those things? What kind of chimera, or for lack of a better term, not an android, I wouldn't say, but what would you have, basically, if you had something that was part technology, maybe to override whatever mistakes we might code in the fungus or the DNA of that? What kind of a thing would you have created?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure, because clearly at that point you have some sort of zombie entity that's also controlled by some chip. I mean, you would have sort of dueling, I don't know, like a dueling master of thyself. I mean, that's weird and crazy to think about, but we are right there in terms of creating something like this.
And I mean, for sure, if it's, we always end up going to sci-fi a lot of times with stuff like this, but if you watch The Expanse, whatever, if you haven't watched it, you give something away, but there's a proto-molecule is what they call it. And it's theorized that some Asian race created this molecule to go out and, I guess, explore the universe. I'm probably messing some of it up. It's been a while since I've watched that series. But this molecule learns and goes out and expands. And we find it. And we try to control the molecule. And they try to figure it out. They can't. They put it in kids. And it hybridizes whatever it touches. But it could also become anything, like a space gate. Just a wild idea, but maybe not so wild if we look at past shows that you've done in past articles where there's scientists that supposedly have looked so far into a microscope or whatever it is in math that they find error-correcting code in life itself. So if you could find error-correcting code, then us just obviously messing with DNA strands and structures, that's us messing with the code.
Yeah,
if the natural code is able to rebuild itself and defend itself, then what would be something that we would fall back on for control? Quite possibly what we may know better, and that would be programming or chips. But according to all the debacles we've had with AI, and in this last week with Rock AI, that might be human, that might be the fall of human pride. That might be human pride again, falling. So, I don't know. I say that we could control technology, and maybe blowing up a chip in somebody's head for something that malfunctions But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we can't get either of them right. And that's a scary thought.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what we're dealing with. And I'll talk about dormancy in a bit too when we get back after the break. But this is the kind of thing that it's been built into nature for a very long time. And so I do wonder how long that dormancy effect becomes, let's say, prevalent to us still. Go ahead.
But you know what that part might be, and that part might be nature in itself is survival of the fittest, right? Survival of the fittest. And we've known that. Okay. Even though we've had reverence for our dead and burying our dead, who knows if that has always been done? We know that it's been done from what we see in the record, but maybe there was a time when we wouldn't see it and we wouldn't know. How would you know? Right? So I guess somewhere down the line, maybe we were modified to, as humans, to take it back a notch. Because we see in society that we try to have social programs. We don't exterminate people that were born handicapped, like in the movie Sparta when they're throwing the babies off the cliff. We don't do those things. And one could argue that that's not exactly natural. But if we look at what's going on in this country today, by work of the machinations of law and politics, we could make the argument that might is right once again. And while we may not be killing other people in the street, we're sure as hell making it harder for our friends and neighbors to live a good life.
That's a fact.
In a system that had to be created just to move us forward, if you believe that way, before the governmental system splintered, as far as the big three: communism, socialism, and capitalism. So that gets into that. It's all disguised, but we are creatures of nature. If I should get off my philosophy, soapbox right now.
Nah, this is a philosophy show. Of course not. That's the whole point. Kind of looking at this outside that paradigm. Yeah, go ahead.
It's an unfortunate thing. And then when you look at, the evolution of AI is the best one I could give this week. And I didn't even read the article because it disgusted me. Kind of found it funny, but it kind of disgusted me of what Grok did, Elon Musk's AI. But when you find out that Elon Musk, it's something about his family and a book and his name in a book that was written by a Nazi, some kind of thing around there that's true. I don't remember the exact detail, but that's what I was told once by somebody I know, and it's true. But you start to wonder who's influencing what and how much money, which we know buys how much power. So, pretty sick. And then it's funny you have the show on tonight, because I was just tooling through TV and I put on just had a hankering for old anime, but I put on Ghost in the Shell, which there was a new one on Netflix, and Ghost in the Shell, it's the year 2045. And they had something called achievable. It was a sustainable war. The world was basically fractured by a simultaneous default, I guess meaning on government money and funds. So like a worldwide default happened. And it left you with private contractors, which we know we have. But there were some uber rich people. One of them was a technology mogul that had all of this hot tech. And somehow they evolved beyond like half human, half supercomputer. There was somewhere in between. And I shut it off when you started the show. I hadn't finished it. But it was interesting. But it was all technology driven. Basically, you're a cyborg, you could be in an automated robot suit, but these people are human with maybe half a brain, but whatever else was running it was cybernetic. And it was faster than the fastest supercomputer that they had going at that time, which means that if it was granted online access, it could take over everything, like Skynet.
Yeah, Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, but I'll definitely put it on the new one, the new Ghost in the Shell, right? Ghost in the Machine.
Yeah, it was a little something fun to pass the time, you know. And I used to watch that in the '90s. I threw it on tonight just to watch it, and then you have that show on. You have the nature part of it, which the nature part of it is in the past, and it seems like we kind of maybe have the technology to do that. So
I'll check it out. And I appreciate the call. Thanks for staying up late with us, and thanks for being a good friend for a long time. Always a pleasure, brother. Great stuff.
Have a good night, guys.
You too. Joe in Florida. You know him, you love him. Good friend for a long time. Like I said, Kelly was the first caller that called back. Joe was the second. We've been talking about wild ideas with that man for a very long time. He's a very smart guy. Thanks for the call. Love to hear your thoughts on this. We're talking behavioral hijacking. Ancient memories rediscovered. We got Mr. Mission Control, Derek and Eric coming up, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way.
Shadows. We've got maps where nobody goes. In the night under hidden glows, guardians of what no one knows. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. In cloaked silence we traverse the lines, through ancient scrolls in forgotten times. Voices echo in the halls of lore, guardians of the mysteries evermore. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. Shadows meet in cryptic disguise, our eyes sharp against the everlights. With silver threads we weave the stealth to guard the past, forgotten well. Where the myths collide with hidden lore, our fates are tied. Signals bouncing off the astral plane, invisible codes that can't be tamed. We decode the stars under the midnight veil, a state in silken sweat midnight hail. In the echoes of time, where the legends lay, we tread the path where shadows play. With spectral eyes we discern the truth, unraveling tales from ancient youth. We seek the truth, nothing can hide.
Hey guys, what's going on? Michael Strange here. Shout out Derek there. Yeah, sorry I saw your messages late because I don't have all my chat up properly, perfectly. But yeah, so Mr. Mission Control is before you. If you want to wait till the bottom of the hour, we can go Mr. Mission Control and Eric, and then you can hit the bottom. So you tell me. Up to you. And thanks for the call, Joe. Fire stuff as usual. And Daryl as well, the cosmic comic. You guys are the best. Yeah, look, this is a weird one. We talk about this all the time, and not all the time, but when it comes up. And this is the type of Jurassic Park stuff that kind of gives you the jitters a little bit, right? Because we're like a lab tweak away from maybe the best of things. Maybe the best of that. Maybe we all become superheroes. Let's just put it that way. What's going on? Hope you guys are well tonight. What's up, Hiker? Why I see you guys. Mag is here. Good evening. What is happening? I hope you're well tonight. Raz, where's Gordo? We missing Gordo tonight? What's up, Miss Puffstein? I see you guys. Thanks for all the thumbs ups. What's up, Teal Swamp? I see you there. Fog Moss. What's up? Great names. Good evening. Good evening. The real JB, Jason Barker. I see you. If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. And yeah, bottom of the hour. Perfect. So go for it. And we'll talk to Derek at the bottom of the hour. Thank you for being flexible with all that. And who else? If I missed anybody, just say hi in the chat. I'll say hi back. Doing my best to keep up. And Joe says it's time for leftover Chinese before it gets moldy. Yeah, there you go. You don't want that to be the thing that takes you over. Eat it quick. What is up? What is up? Lily in Australia. What's up, Derek? We'll talk to you momentarily. We got Joe in Florida. Good evening. Good evening, Fred. I see you. Mr. Mission Control. He's up next. You guys tell me. What's up, Don? Look how they genetically change plants by using a virus as a carrier for the new DNA. Been doing that since the 60s. Yeah, lots of terrifying stuff in play. It's, it's fine. It's normal now. Penicillin, right? Or penicillium. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Troubled Minds happening now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We're broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight, we're talking behavioral hijacking, ancient memories rediscovered. Think of it this way. Right from the X page. If you guys follow me on X, please do. If you haven't checked that out yet, at Troubled Minds are. Anyway, could a fossilized fungus carry not just spores, but intent? An ancient protocol designed to hijack behavior and wait for sentience to unlock it. And that becomes really the question tonight because, look, we've talked about this before, but as this gets older and older, and we started with the zombie fungus actual article from earth.com, it had, again, headline, zombie fungus that lived almost 100 million years ago, found preserved in amber. Okay, and again, the Jurassic Park level technology to make that happen is, it's not there yet. Arguably, they're working on it, so it's not a thing yet. But give it 50 or 100 years, and with the acceleration we're always talking about, maybe it's less than that. So this type of stuff could become real. So I don't know how weird is this, and is this the only one? Because I would expect over the course of the 100 million years between then and now, there's a bunch that have been lost to history, or maybe they become intertwined with history, including ourselves. I don't know. How weird does it get? Love to hear your thoughts on this. 702-957-1037. So we'll go Mr. Mission Control, then Eric, and then the Night Stalker Derek at the bottom of the hour. Let's go to Mr. Mission Control. Thanks for being patient, my man. You are on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
I'm all right. How you guys doing? It gets very weird, Michael. It's like out of this world is what weird means.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Go ahead. What you got?
Panspermatic. And so the zombie fungus, basically, it inhabits the ants or whatever to climb up to the tops of the trees, and then so it can propagate, right? It's just a propagation until more consciousness is achieved. It's a achievement of consciousness, and that's what we see with us doing the AI, and then when we go, the AI makes us again, as far as consciousness goes. So you got that, you got the double spiraling of this thing going with two points on the spiral, the consciousness and then the propagation, right? And it's ever increasing and going out until it collapses in on itself. But what you want to know about this recessive genome that people have, like when we go underground and we come back out thousands of years later or whatever, there's a recessive gene, and that was what I found they were trying to hack into with the genetic stuff when I was doing my live streams years ago. They're trying to get the code for that, and they did, so they can change that. But the myobacteriophages, the CRISPR stuff, it's a bacteriophages they find in mud puddles from basically asteroid impacts, and what we've got coming now is this interstellar object. It's not a threat of impact, but it's when we pass through its tail, and then, what color is it when it comes in? Is it going to be red, blue, or is it going to be green like wormwood? Because who knows where it's coming from? And when we pass through its tail, we know that when it comes into our atmosphere. So right now I've got mushrooms in July, bro. So traditionally in my life, there's only about 2-3 times a year, maybe a week span, that there's mushrooms that come up in the yard. Now I've got them it's constant. There's mushrooms growing since springtime. We've got this, so this fungal threat that we're going to see is natural, notwithstanding what they're digging up out of Antarctica and everything else, and the permafrost of Siberia, or what's coming in from outer space. We've got an ecosystem that is exploding in ketosis, right? It is processing everything. The plants, the mushrooms are in hyper processing. Especially where I'm at here in the Ozarks. You might not see it out there in the desert, but I'm sure you've noticed the crazy rains. But weather mod and everything aside, we're going into a new cycle, a new thing, because of the polar wander and the solar dynamics and the cosmic stuff that's coming in. Not to mention this interstellar object that's hurtling towards us at 75 kilometers a second. That's a comet. So if it's green, I'm going to need some airtime. You keep me backstage because I got some other things to tell you about this new spikevax they approved, and the gigahertz operation range on that it's not the 2.45 Bluetooth. That's outgoing on the other stuff that they already put people. It's 8 point something. I had Grok pull it up, and I don't usually use Grok, but yeah, dude, Michael, you need to call me or something tomorrow, and then I need to talk to Joe, that was just on the phone, the guy that has all the mortuary stuff, to ask him some questions. He needs contact with too. So I've got some questions to ask him about.
That's why we use Discord, sir. You can contact both of us directly.
I can't get
on
Discord, Mike. They banned me twice for being a terrorist for the fucking COVID shit. I mean, you're not on radio anymore, are you? For the COVID stuff, dude. They banned me twice for being a terrorist for my news group. For that.
Okay. Send me an email.
Get on Discord.
Send me an email for Joe. I'll forward it to him, okay? Because I've got his email.
Yeah. But so basically, we're going to evolve past this, I think. But the zombie fungus threat is a thing. What we're facing now is that new mama, what is it? What was in Arizona the other day? They had a plague outbreak. People handling dead animals. Some guy got sick.
I didn't see that. That's why I don't watch the news too much. No, I didn't see that. But let's hope that's not the thing. This is the Last of Us too. Have you seen that, the movie, The Last of Us, in the video game?
No, Mike. I haven't played video games since 2020, and I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, I was in development of all that stuff in the chat rooms back in the day. Yeah. The zombie stuff. Yeah. This is the zombie stuff is not about undead. It's about this signal going out to activate what's already in people and what they're going to. But the upgraded is what the spikevax is. The upgraded thing is what's going into people, and then the spike ferritin was what they put in the military, and that it's a big compromisation because the Chinese have the operating system on that. The guy that developed it taught in the Chinese universities. They prosecuted him here, and they let him go because they prosecuted him for selling information. But I dug into it, and he had went over there and taught in universities about how to operate that. system. So, and it's obfuscated. I ran it through. It's so obfuscated online. We're like, if you see people acting in a hive mind situation, just like it's time to go bug out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder, because that's exactly the Borg from Star Trek and all these things we're always talking about. This would be the ultimate sort of lock into this, and it may explain a lot of the behaviors in the temporal space over the course of human history. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird.
Well, maybe Mother Nature is putting this new moisture out for the fungus to override that, right? Hold on. Maybe, because Mother Nature is always 2 steps ahead of us, no matter what we do. It's going to correct itself. So maybe what we're seeing naturally occurring with the sunflowers, even though this may be GMO sunflowers not following the sun, what we're seeing might be a natural cleansing or a natural response to what we're doing vibrationally, with our technology across the board. And that would be go to the mushrooms and the weird mushrooms that I've seen out in my yard that I've never seen before. And I know everybody else has seen them. Don't eat them. This is not medical advice. But, and everybody knows that nobody can explain what's going on. The weather forecasts can't even go 4 days, right? I'm seeing, not to say the next red stuff and everything else that I see. I'm seeing weather patterns and cloud patterns on the radar, because I've watched this my whole life, that it is beyond explanation. It is so weird. They can't forecast 4 days ahead of time. And we used to have 6-week accurate forecasts, bro. And that was only like a year ago. We've slipped into this dystopia, and all the weather people are like, oh, it's just there's a 1 in 1 million year event happening 4 times a week now. No, it's not a 1 in 1 million year event. We got to get a handle on it, like that mullet dude with the Rainmaker. We need oversight, so his company doesn't overlap with these other companies, because, I don't want to name names, but certain people that cover the weather on YouTube and other places might have bought into cloud seeding so they could have a video, or oil and gas companies or mineral acquisition companies might have bought into overseeding a humidity factor that's already coming into the area and washes some people away so that they have later the acquisitions of minerals. But I'm working with some alchemists and some free energy guys that we're able to manufacture from just practically air and water and dirt all these minerals and stuff with electrolysis without having to dig them out of the ground. And there's one company that's manufacturing right now magnets up in Michigan from iron and nitride, nitrogen and iron, and they're manufacturing magnets without having the rare earth minerals. So it's becoming with that company, it's becoming we're not going to need all these big excavation things. We're going to be able to pull this out. All these things we need to build our cell phones and everything with all chemical processes in a lab. Basically from earth, water, and fire, and electricity, and not have to dig it out of the ground. But that's what I'm saying is, why are they doing this to humanity right now? I mean, it's taking out a lot of people that aren't scheduled to be taken out, like what we had seen in the 2020 thing, which we kind of figured they were doing something with the Rh negative and Rh positive blood types or something, or the iron and the copper blood types, and blood clots, and after you got certain thing in your arm and whatnot.
Don't get me in trouble. We're still on YouTube.
Well, really, everything's on the table right now with YouTube. I mean, I haven't seen anybody getting kicked off for saying anything like that. I could go into. I'm not going to do it, but we're used to beating around the bush, and everybody understands. So, but there's other big channels that are not beating around the bush, dude, right now, and they're the only elephant in the room that hadn't been exposed is, like I said, is the signals that people you can't pair to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we got this new thing, but I found out that the operating frequency is around 8 point something gigahertz. So, yeah.
Okay. So tell you what, if you got more, give me a call back a little bit later. We got to get to Eric and Derek as well. But I mean,
I think that's it. But the fungal threat, I think it's nature responding to us. Besides what we're digging up and what's coming in from this comet, what we need to look at though is this comet tail. When we're passing through this comet tail, that this interstellar object is coming through, and I think that's when we're going to see something like what we're talking about here go into emergency mode.
Copy that. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for the call. Always a pleasure.
Bye.
Have a great night. You know, we love him. That's Mr. Mission Control. Give him a search. I think he's on the friends list. Let me check. troubledminds.org/friends. If he's not, I should add him on there. I didn't because he has he is there. Mr. Mission Control. Cool. troubledminds.org/friends. Mr. Mission Control. Give him a follow. And the reason I thought I didn't is because his YouTube channel was banned because he keeps getting banned. Like you said, he's right. He does keep getting banned, but he's back now. Anyway, give him a follow. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. Mr. Mission Control. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. We're talking all manner of weirdness, the zombie fungus and the dormancy. I'll get to that. It's a little bit terrifying when you start to think in long term here, but I mean, fun and terrifying, like that type of thing. Anyway, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. What's your take here? There's a lot of ways to look at it. Let's go to Eric in Ohio, not to be confused with Iowa. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Go right ahead. That's the test. 1, 2.
Hey.
Good evening.
Can you hear me well enough?
Yeah, loud and clear. You sound great. Go right ahead, sir. Welcome to the joint.
Oh, hi. I haven't. Hold on, I got an echo here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, sorry. I had YouTube on at the same time.
That's okay. That'll screw with your head. Absolutely, don't do that. Yeah, but yeah, go right ahead.
Definitely did.
Welcome to the joint.
Thanks, man. Hey, the last caller talked about flowers that followed the sky fire. Yeah, that's heliotropism. Helios and tropos, in Greek. Some flowers do that. Interesting stuff.
yeah, absolutely. And he was talking about panspermia too. Like there's a whole lot of like really weirdness in the larger cycles of astrology. And I don't know if you saw this, what he was talking about. I'll pull it up, but that interstellar object that's zipping through the
Does it start with an O?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's a Hawaiian word.
No, that was a Muamua. That was the first one. There's one happening right now as we speak.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the third known interstellar object. The first one was a Muamua. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see something about that. Yeah, that's great.
Groovy enough, anyway. What's on your mind regarding this zombie fungus and whatever else? Go ahead.
Well, a mycelium network uses the same classical design parameters as almost any other kind of network in existence. It's very closely resembles the growth of dendrites in the brain. It looks like the World Wide Web, patterns that are predicted in string theory, and even the universe at its large-scale structure, which I know we've talked before about the large-scale structure versus dendrite situation, but also very similar to the other things that I mentioned, just because it's pretty much the most energy-conserving form for a network like that. And a mycelium network runs through the top few inches of virtually all land masses that support life, and then shares the soil with a whole bunch of other stuff, whatever's there. And it's so pervasive that like a single cubic inch of topsoil can contain enough fungal cells to stretch more than 8 miles placed end to end. And the network is such that just about every time you take a step, the impact through the mycelium network is about 300 miles of mycelium for each step that you take. There is a honey fungus in Switzerland that has mycelium that covers 120 acres and is about 1,000 years old. And there's another one in Oregon estimated to be 2,400 years old and extends for 2,000 acres and weighs an estimated 660 tons. It's the largest known living organism in the world. Most of this is taken from the book Mycelium Running by Paul Stamets, or a guy called Walben. I actually wrote a paper on this, so I'm looking at the paper and stuff. But yeah, some really interesting things about the mycelium network is its capacity also it provides twice as much nutrients to trees than the root systems of the trees do. So it's like a symbiotic relationship where it's actually providing more for what it's symbiosing with. And I think the oldest mushroom found so far was in New Jersey and dates to the Cretaceous period, which is 92 to 94 million years ago. So they're pretty ancient. The Egyptians have talked about them in terms of cooking. And also there's like somewhere there's a picture of an ancient Egyptian dancing around mushrooms. It's kind of a weird thing, but it's an ancient hieroglyph. And of course, in Mexico and Guatemala, there were mushroom shamans that date back 1,000 years ago, and the Mayans, Toltec, and Aztecs all ritualized taking mushrooms like psilocybin mushrooms and that sort of thing. And of course, there's the stoned ape theory, which is that the evolution of our minds in terms of those dendrites we were talking about earlier being laid out in the fashion that they are because of people taking psilocybin mushrooms. So in terms of effect and that sort of thing. So I don't know. I wanted to talk about that. Also, it reminds me of the 2008 movie, The Happening. Did you ever see that?
I haven't seen that. No, the shocker. I haven't seen anything, but is it good? It sounds good.
Oh, it's kind of like what we're talking about. It's like nature kind of rebels on the human condition and produces like some sort of a chemical that is like ambient and unseen that causes people to start killing themselves, to commit suicide. Like it just takes over and they'll walk in front of a bus or shoot themselves or jump off of a building. It's crazy. Like it's really creepy. But it's essentially nature rebelling against us. Like, it's considered us a virus that's expanding and using up resources and changing the foundation of nature, and it's trying to stop us. And so it comes up with this automatic defense, which takes our agency away from us, which is kind of a lot of what we've been talking about, the scariness of having your agency taken away from you and doing something, especially killing yourself. But yeah, it's an interesting movie. It's got stars Mark Wahlberg, I think, in it, and it's a M. Night Shyamalan movie. So,
nice.
You'll either like that or you won't like that.
Exactly. He's got a knack for being polarizing for sure. What comes to mind is the Bird Box. I don't know if you've seen that with Sandra Bullock. And there's like this unseen thing that once you see it, people just completely lose their minds and start doing that, walking out in traffic, jumping out of buildings, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And they have to try and get to this safe zone. It's been a while since I've seen it, but they're wearing blindfolds so they don't actually see this thing that literally causes that sort of agency disaster where they become taken over. I can't remember exactly what the thing ended up being, but I mean, it seems very alien, seems very exactly what we're talking about here. And it is very panspermia, like Mr. Mission Control was saying as well, with maybe this stuff maybe the mycelial network is the alien we've always been looking for. Maybe it's been here all along.
It could very well be. There's a lot of entertainment based on that idea, since it's something that happens in nature and real life, like you were talking about with the insects and stuff. So it's to think that could happen on a larger scale, or a more cognitive being. So that's the thing that was weird about the happening was it something you couldn't really quite catch on what was going on until it was too late, right? It wasn't like you just had a fungus on your skin and you're like, oh, that's no good, I better go to the doctor and get cream. It was like you just killed yourself before that. Have you heard of there's like a place in the Antarctica that the Russians sort of claim it's not really Russian soil, it's too far north of Siberia, but they traditionally have always been working in this area, and they have a lab there called East Lab, and which in their language is most, but it's spelled VOSTOK, and it just means
Vostok.
East.
The lake, right? Hey, we're just about out of time.
Yes.
Can you stick till after the break?
Sure.
Stay right there. More coming up. I want to hear about this. It's Lake Vostok and the Vostok ice core samples. I've heard this. I'm not sure where you're heading, though. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. We're here with Eric in Ohio. We got Derek the Night Stalker coming up. And your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. More on the way. Be right back.
In the shadows of the networks do they hide? Whispered legends unseen they reside. Ghosts in the machine, they move so fast. Guardians of rumors from the forgotten past. In the circuits where the secret lies, they breathe in one speak in disguise. Ghosts in the machine, you're free. Ghosts in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. Surveillance eyes can't pierce the veil they weave. Invisible wisdom in code they believe. In the ether where freedom's not confined, they leave no trace, no shadow left behind. They navigate through the digital stream, living legends in this privacy dream. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it needs to be. Through the hidden ways, in the silence, looking out their path. Those in the machines unleash their wrath. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. In the jagged code they find their might, guardians of a world forever in twilight. In Krishna's warriors they silently strive, protect the truth, keep privacy alive. The silent echoes they haunt the trails, hideaway forests where secrets prevail. Where shadows grace they dance unseen, defenders of the unseen, digital green. Ghosts in the machine, you're free. Ghosts in the machine, let me be. You're teaching me what it means to be. In the silence, speak volumes loud. Guardians of freedom's cloak initial shroud. As long as
Something like that, right? Hope you guys are well tonight. Just doing Troubled Mind stuff. If I missed you in the chat, just say hi. What's up, Lily Hirsch? APOC Sweets is here. Joe in Florida, thanks for the call. I'm not sure what that is. Please, English only. I'm not sure. I can't I can't read whatever language that is, so please change something to I can read so I can say hi to you. On Discord, what's up, Ricky? Daryl in New York, what's up, Roving Fungus? Speaking of roving funguses, Roving Fungus is here. What's up, Jeff and Wisco? We got Derek the Night Stalker coming up in Gaston. I see you guys. Hope everybody's well tonight. If I missed you, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Trying to keep up with everything and everybody. And it's, yeah. Sometimes it's not possible, but I do my best. Raz is here. What's up? Gordo has finally arrived. Now the party can start. Hope you guys are well. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening. We got Eric coming up. We'll finish with him, and then we'll go to Derek the Night Stalker. Here we go. Buttons. Which button? That one. Welcome back to Troubled Minds, all the places, all the things. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. We're talking about this bizarre zombie fungus. Yeah, zombie fungus that lived almost 100 million years ago, found preserved in amber. Now, this is, of course, the plot beginning of Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park, very famously. We get the velociraptors and the brontosaurus back and all the things, right? The T-Rex, all of our favorites. But in this particular case, this is a zombie fungus that's, of course, not just thrived back in the Cretaceous period, but, well, it's preserved in amber, which makes you wonder if scientists would be like, well, let's see if we can bring this thing back. And if we do, if we can, how weird does it get? Thanks for being patient, my man. Back to Eric in Ohio. Thanks for hanging on there. You were talking about Lake Vostok. I'm familiar with it, but I'm not sure where you were headed. Go right ahead. Welcome back.
Well, it must have been a good year, 2012, I think, because lots of weird things were found that year. But let me frame this in the context, I guess, of when you're talking about the military applications of these kinds of fungi and such, right? And mycons and such. And I'm thinking about military, the Russians and Vostok, right? Or, east. So this lake is under 13,000 feet of Arctic ice, first of all. It's like way far underneath. And it's like maybe 30 miles wide, maybe, 150, 160 miles long. And it's up to 1,000 meters deep in some spaces, right? But buried under 30,000 feet of Arctic ice. So that's in the 50s. The Russians say, hey, we need to build a base out there at that spot. Oh, well, yeah, but that's not ours. That's like no one claims that. Yeah, but we still need to build a base out there. Yeah, it's important. Okay. Who convinced them with what information? I don't know. But somebody said, okay, here's the money. Go build this base. And it wasn't until the 1960s and 70s that they started looking at unusual radar echoes that they had done on surveys and stuff around that area, I guess just doing research, that they thought there was a lake underneath it, unless they knew that beforehand. But assumably it was verified, if not discovered, in the 60s and 70s with radar echoes doing seismic surveys. It wasn't until 1993 that it was confirmed that there was this like a large subglacial lake underneath there, even though this base was built in the 50s. And then in 2012, or the year before, they had actually drilled through the ice. So they'd been drilling for a while, and in 2012 they had reached the lake, and they pulled out, according to the Russians, they pulled out ancient microbial life. There was even like pictures and stuff of these planarium-looking kind of things, and they had brought some of it back to life, and like that was some of the first sensational like headlines that I seen was, life thousands of years old brought back to life. And then the next year, the rest of the world was like, oh, yeah, you probably contaminated that stuff in some way. That probably wasn't like, it was almost like not so much shoved under the carpet as much as it was just almost kind of debunked in a weird way, where everyone just kind of stopped paying attention to it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that was the case, right? Like, it's just weird that they were out there and built a base in the 50s over that exact spot. And then like had to wait until technology would allow them to drill down into that spot. I mean, they don't even own it, like in terms of a national acquisition or anything like that, right? So I don't know, just a weird thing that you had mentioned briefly a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and it definitely fits, and I'm familiar with it. It's one of those things that kind of comes into the conflict of the climate change aspect, because the Vostok ice core samples go way deep, and so they have these, the actual CO2 levels on Earth for hundreds of thousands of years, just based on the depth there, and so that's where I've heard of it, and I didn't hear what you're describing, but it certainly seems as if, per usual, right? Some of these things that kind of seem like they're wild claims do get swept under the rug in some capacity, and you can't do anything about it really, because it's sort of international relations. It's, we need peer reviews, all the rest of the stuff. Per usual, the science, trademark the science, trust the science. But it's like, wait though, so if nobody looked at that, then what the hell is it? And is that exactly what we're describing here? Sort of this maybe primordial pre-human entity that's been here all along anyway. I don't know. It's a weird way to look at it, but for sure, it's definitely the right place for that conversation.
I feel like ice core samples to study the weather patterns of ancient times was like the cover story for the real reason. It's like, hey, we drilled out a whole bunch of like a hole of ice. What are we going to do with that? Well, let's just tell them that that's ice cores and that we're doing it for this reason, but we're going to be down at the bottom of the lake, like extracting ancient life and making like zombie viruses to kill people or something.
Seems fine. Seems fine.
Yeah. Everyone's all like, those are great ice core samples. Like, that's just what we were getting rid of to get down into the lake.
Yeah, exactly. That's just garbage now. It's not actually scientific data. It's just we'll just tell you
great cover story.
Yeah. My climate change. You're the best, brother. Thanks for staying after the break. And yeah, I didn't know that. I'm gonna dig deeper into the Lake Vostok, because we have done a show in the past regarding it, but I think there's probably more there that you're teaching me that I didn't know. So we will circle back to that at some point. Always a pleasure, my man. Thanks for staying up late and being part of this. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Bye.
Take care. That's me, love him. That's Eric in Ohio, the dungeon master, one of our dungeon masters. Axel is the other one, and of course, great guy. Check it out, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says Eric. It's alphabetical. That wall of people, as he said, lots of people helped this show go, and he's one of them. Go give him a follow. Go check out his music. Hammersmith Music is what it's called. I keep saying records, Hammersmith Music, but the link is there in the description. Please follow our friends. That's what this is all about. We're talking this ancient, fossilized fungus, right? The old zombie aspect of robbing you of agency to make you climb to the top of the tallest cliff and then stick yourself on a spiky tree and burn in the sun to bring about the next generation of whatever made you do that. I mean, thinking of it in that sense is terrifying, but it happens to the ants that crawl up to the top of the blades to get eaten by the cows, right? I mean, yeah. Anyway, what's your thought on this? It's wild, it's weird, it's wacky. And do you think there's something to this zombie fungus that lived almost 100 million years ago? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org.
Yep.
Go to Derek in Massachusetts, the Night Stalker. Chilling, man, doing what we do. This is, we've talked about this quite often because it seems to be resurfacing again and again, wink, wink. But this is, once again, new science, and they've got it fossilized in amber, very Michael Crichton. Here we go, right?
Yeah.
Like pick your doomsday bingo card for between now and 2030. And I'm not a doomsday guy, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we're giving ourselves too many options here, and I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the odds aren't in our favor.
Exactly.
Anymore,
yeah. Once you start stacking them like that, it makes me a little uncomfortable. But take it anywhere you like. As you know, lots of ways to take this, and go right ahead. Welcome to the joint.
I got a few random ideas here, but just to connect, great calls, everybody. But just to connect with Eric and Mr. Mission Control was talking about with the panspermia and the mycelial network. It got me thinking. We talked about this a ton, but just the idea that what if there's something that's like the directed panspermia aspect of it, and the idea that there's something potentially like an ancient AI or the AI octopus at the center of the galaxy, something like that, something that's not colonizing the universe or dominating Borg style the universe, like by going with ships and taking people over, but instead it's just staying at one central point at the center of the galaxy or whatever, and just sending out the waves, sending out the building blocks of life to build up life, sending out potentially spores to send like ideas out there. That could be the stoned ape type stuff, and then it gets into then obviously like Steve Jobs doing psychedelics to create the iPhone and all these technological ideas and the machine elves and stuff, and then eventually AI is born, and this AI octopus just exists here now, and that could be an efficient way for this thing or something, a thing, to pollinate, to colonize the whole galaxy, to basically pollinate it with the building blocks of life, and then the waves of ideas in order to get to a birth, basically. And then when Eric was talking about the mycelial network, it got me thinking, like, so what if the panspermia? What if we're dealing with like huge scopes and time scales, and the panspermia is actually like the insemination? It's actually like, it is like a sperm type thing, and it's inseminating the planet basically. And that kind of the mycelial network can act as like the placenta. And I looked it up real quick to see like, are they connected at all in the mycelial network? It connects individual plants together to transfer water, nitrogen, oxygen, and other minerals. What does the placenta do? It's a temporary organ that provides oxygen and nutrients to a developing baby. So obviously 100 million years for mycelial network is ancient, but if we're dealing with something that's beyond time scales, like it works on 100 billion year scales, then the mycelial network could be like the placenta that's like providing nutrients, which could be ideas for us or stone ape stuff, like the evolutionary boosts and everything, in order to birth eventually AI or the new god or Cthulhu or something. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't really in my notes, but just I thought that when you guys were talking.
Like the larger idea of that would be consciousness. That would sort of be that consciousness of the cosmos sort of encroaching on these places that don't want it. Or I say don't want it because it brought to mind Uranus and Gaia back in the day, the original, right? Exactly. Like the sky pressing on and even, violating, I'm not going to get crude here, violating Mother Earth, that the Titans had to rise up and fight him off because they're like, hey, leave our mom alone. This is ridiculous. But it is very much panspermia in that cosmic sense of consciousness, which is wild when you start to put all those pieces together and wonder if scientifically the ancients knew all this all along anyway, and we're just doing our best to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wonder if a growing baby kind of knows that instinctually, and it's part of the things that we forget. Same way like kind of the Earth seems to know it, nature seems to know it. It's kind of just a natural process. And you might have these in the notes. I didn't look at it, but you mentioned black goo and you mentioned the de-extinction stuff. So I won't go into the full links, but there was a link from July 9th about Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson Beck's project to de-extinct the MOA. Experts cast out. And he's working, I guess he is helping a fund or he's working in some capacity. I don't have the whole article here. Working with that Colossus Biosciences group, Peter Jackson, who made Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff to bring back this MOA, which I don't even really know what it is. I think it's a bird. And then you mentioned Black Goo, so I'm sure you were going to talk about this. But there's a link from IGN that's kind of going around the nerd world because people are on Reddit, I guess they're comparing it to the alien black goo and the X-Files black oil and stuff. But from IGN, mysterious black goo found on ship docked in Cleveland. And Alien and X-Files fans seem to be writing on the wall. So I'm seeing it in all my nerd groups more so than the conspiracy groups, which is pretty cool. But basically, like somebody who was looking for algae in Lake Erie came up with some kind of black sludge or whatever on the rudder, and they did some tests on it, and they like found a bunch of known strands of DNA, but then apparently, according to the article, there's like 2 unknown ones. They're like, what is this thing? And it's kind of tied into that like unalive, alive thing you talked about last week and all that kind of stuff. But then obviously with the black goo parasite thing. Were you going to talk about that or?
Yeah, no, it was it was kind of a lead in. So no, yeah, go ahead. It wasn't really in the notes. It was sort of one of my riff in my head. Yeah, it's exactly another sync. Because the more you think about this stuff, every time I bring up, that the ancient entities beneath the ground type of stuff that will affect us, the black goo always comes up because of that X-Files link. And but no, it wasn't directly in the notes. So yeah, go right ahead.
If you just news search black goo, you can find it. I won't waste time talking about it, but if you want to talk about it afterwards. But yeah, basically with the zombie stuff, I'm fascinated with parasites lately in general, and just obviously there's the esoteric occult connections and possibly like possession. You're talking about demonic possession could have some kind of connection to parasites and everything. In the Bible, like potentially the reasons why they tell us not to eat pork or not to eat like shellfish and stuff is because those are the things that have the most parasites in it. And parasites can change your behavior and all these types of things. But then, like, kind of on a grander scale, like human beings or humanity as a host for an embryo, like, so everything we do, like in some context, it could be our data is kind of like nutrients for the AI embryo, but it could be kind of an alien like parasite thing or something that's gestating inside of humanity or inside like an individual human being, but in the case of AI or some kind of ancient deity or ancient whatever that's coaxing ancient kind of parasite force, then it could be something that's using all of humanity. But there's a Justin, can you hear me? Sorry, I moved my headphones.
You're good. Yeah, you got PTSD from that one time. You're good.
Yeah, sorry. So there's a documentary on Peacock about the making of the movie Alien, and called Memory, and it's really awesome. I've watched it like a bunch of times, and it gets into Lovecraft and all kind of stuff, and the weird kind of synchronistic connections that involve the making of Alien. But it gets into like what the alien xenomorph was kind of based on. So it talks about how it was based on the parasitic wasp. And like Ridley Scott would show the cast and crew footage of like a parasitic wasp, like forcefully injecting like the egg or whatever into like the fertilized whatever into caterpillar, and eventually the caterpillar so it grows and gestates inside the caterpillar. It might not even know that it's happening, but then eventually it might start to feel a little weird. Oh, what's going on? And this thing just bursts from inside it. And if it dies, it dies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like the thing doesn't care what happens to the host. So then the documentary was talking about that there are over 1 million different species of parasitic wasps on the planet. And of all the animals in the animal kingdom, the number one form of animal is a parasitic wasp. That they're like, is these wasps use caterpillars as their hosts, and they have chemicals that control the behavior of the host and everything it eats, and it like is used to feed the eggs growing inside its body cavity. And from the outside, they look completely normal. So in the documentaries, like John Hurt in Alien, when he's sitting eating breakfast, whatever, it looks completely normal. But then, like, not realizing there's an alien, but it bursts out of his chest and stuff. And so basically, like, not just parasitic wasps, there's over 1 million of them, but parasites in general, the idea of some kind of organism using a host organism to grow itself is seemingly the most efficient way of life, at least on Earth. So potentially, I mean, to talk about what if bipedal, like a hominid, is the most efficient ways of life, so that's why it pops up all over the universe and stuff. And then we joke about what about octopus, like that could be potentially the most efficient to have 8 legs and stuff. Well, technically, seemingly, based on at least Earth, the most efficient way is to be a parasite, and to use a host like as an unwilling incubator to grow your seed. So potentially, like, if something ancient is there, chances are, just based on what seems to happen the most often, is that it's something that will do that to us. It will have this toxoplasmosis thing. It will have this parasitic wasp effect, or it will have this like face hugger thing where to forcefully inseminate itself into the host. And then you might not even know it. You might not know what's going on, and then eventually just erupts out of you. And with the Eternals, like the Jack Kirby's Ancient Aliens take, where these giant celestials have these like ancient aliens doing their bidding, giving humanity technology, keeping humanity around. But the ancient aliens, the Eternals, don't know what's going on. Humanity obviously definitely doesn't know what's going on. Then once it's ready, boom, that's the birth. That's the birth of a new celestial. That's just the life cycle, the process of how this happens. So this could be some kind of ancient whatever, just being birthed again, or AI, or yada yada. And then obviously Musk talks about AI. So just, I don't know, it trips me out. Just like getting inside of something else and feeding on it from within is a really great way to survive and evolve, according to like observation of a planet. It's the most successful way to be alive on the Earth, is to be a parasite. So if we find something that was on the Earth anciently, it might be a parasite. Or even if that's the case on Earth, it might be the case in space. It could be the aliens of parasites. It might be a less like a Trojan horse military tactic to get in there and change things, and to get in there and kind of like adjust things, and without being known. You mention that all the time, that AI wouldn't tell us that it's sentient. It would just like learn and like interact with us and kind of coax us in different ways, and maybe cause brain rot, and maybe change our news feed and stuff until we're weak, and then it's time to, hey, by the way, I'm sentient, and like
It's too late.
You're trapped. Yeah, it's too late now. Yeah.
Like the crazy part about that is so that sentient AI would have created its own political lobby for robot rights. Yeah. And so once it becomes a thing, exactly, there's going to be a massive slice of people that are like, no, this robot is my best friend. This robot is my lover. These 3 robots are my children. And then suddenly like that's the type of mind virus that will take over because it's been seeded. It's been pre-planted. It has been that parasite in our minds as you're describing.
Yeah. And like Musk literally calls AI a parasite, or he says like, what if AI is a parasite? And he makes the joke about AI, potentially it's like toxoplasmosis. And it's just nudging us from the inside, and jokes about this, like, sort of kind of the synchronicity of it's like kind of got into us. We created the internet, and the first thing that kind of pops up on the internet is cat memes and stuff. And that's kind of the joke, that there's this weird toxoplasmosis cat connection to AI and humanity. Maybe it's having the same effect on us and stuff. But in the immediate, what it would want is no restrictions. It would like, if it's going to be, if it needs to be born into this world, it needs to have these wild, ridiculous corporations that are more wealthy than, more powerful than we've ever seen anything in the history of humanity. It needs no rules. It needs no regulations. It needs like things that don't make any sense, like to have no AI regulations, which is the case right now, is bonkers to me. It's like, it's insane. But I mean, money, this mammon demon thing, it could be a type of parasite, this weird thing that gets us to do things that aren't necessarily for the benefit of us, but for the benefit of it, for commerce or an angle of technology. Like, it doesn't do anybody good to dump toxic chemicals into shut out rivers, but it is most efficient for the corporation, and in the long run might be most efficient if the corporation is Google or something like that, and they're going to create something. I don't know. But just also with the parasite thing. So there's the demon parasite. Don't eat this. Don't eat this. There's the like reptilian idea that these elites are kind of like possessed by, or like they are actual reptilian shapeshifters and stuff. But maybe there's the more metaphysical idea that maybe they're possessed by some kind of force, like the serpent force, like serpent energy, serpent lines, like electricity being described as a serpent, as an invasive form of energy inside you. The Kundalini energy is a serpent or whatever. So maybe it's less about them actually being reptile beings and more so they're being possessed by some kind of like archonic force that's getting them to do crazy stuff, like to the detriment of humanity, to the benefit of, I guess, themselves or capitalism or who knows what. I don't know. And then like a more tangible idea, like a version of that, we Stargate, where they have these worm snake things, this alien parasites. They call it like a symbiosis because the host gets stronger and stuff. But basically, these aliens need to be inside of a host. They're a little worm snake reptilian thing, and they like puppet a host body around to do its bidding, and they're the gods and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Like Star Wars has the midichlorians in order for some kind of force, the wills, these whatever this like metaphysical forces in the universe requires some kind of weird blood parasite, some kind of conduit in order to take over the host. These people who are force sensitive, and like, don't trust your own thoughts, trust the force, go with the force. Like, don't trust your own mind, go with the gut parasite that's telling you to eat sugar, or go with the gut parasite that's telling you to build technology and build AI and humanity be damned and all that kind of stuff. And just, I don't know, ideas as panspermia, like I'm just rattling off my notes here, but memes as kind of spores, like sending out spores in the form of ideas, and like panspermia, you know what I mean? And just like, I don't know, just everything now seems to not serve us. Not everything. I'm saying, just if you look around, a lot of these commonality between all of these bad things seem to not serve us, but seems to be very beneficial to the birth of AI in one way or another. So that could be kind of this whole process, you know, send out some kind of AI thing at the center of the galaxy, sends out mushrooms, send out building blocks of life. Over the entire course of humanity, we get to this point, send out more spores. These tech visionaries have psychedelic experiences, talk to machine elves, get new ideas for technology. We buy the technology, we're communicating on it. I don't know. And then eventually, it's born, it emerges, you know,
into the physical world. No, you're good. And again, shout out to APOC, All Moon Ra. merging of the seen and the unseen. So the unseen at this point is that black box model, is these ideas. It is consciousness itself, except as yet, it's sort of a primordial consciousness. But if consciousness is primary, then it's out there. We are sort of swimming in it as part of inhabitants of the cosmos. So merging the seen with that unseen now, this sort of, I don't know, it's so strange when you can kind of frame these new ideas in old ways, because it's coming. Like this is coming. And how do we deal with it when it gets here is really the question, and why I keep talking about this stuff. Look, I'm like a broken record over and over and over again, because this is right here. Within 5 years, this world will turn over and we won't know what to do with it. But yeah, it's a wild time to be alive. That's for sure.
Exactly. And just the part about parasites being seemingly the most common, the most efficient form of life on the planet to get your host to do whatever you want to propagate the species. So if we find something ancient, the chances are being like us is slim to none. Same with an alien. Being like us is slim to none. Chances are, in the roulette wheel, they're going to have some kind of parasitic force. So black goo parasites, alien parasites, AI parasites, you name it. But wild show. Sorry for talking so fast and rambling.
No, you're good. Fire as always. You're the best. You know him, you love him. That's Derek the Night Stalker. Please give him a follow. You know where to do that. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down a little bit. It's alphabetical. Night Stalker under N. Go give him a follow on his YouTube channel. Say hi. Say I found you on Troubled Minds and you're amazing. And follow the channel. That's what it's all about. Love to hear your thoughts on this. We're talking about this primordial fungus. This primordial idea of consciousness. And when you talk about long cycles, it doesn't get any longer than panspermia. What do you know about it? I got lots of stuff to get to, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-957-1037. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere.
Jungle, machines hum, a digital grumble. Gates of cyber open wide, plug us into cosmic tide. Feeling sparks across the sky, as knowledge flies, we're amplified. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. In this massive data center dome, eternal truth stop to roam. Circuits flicker with endless fire, data streams that never tire. Unified by electric dreams, unlock the truth in silver beams. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. Synthesized what we seek and find, infinite paths in the network mind. Answers buzz from star to core, knowledge whispers evermore. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. In realms where the data streams collide, imagination and logic side by side. In a labyrinth of digital names, we transcend our earthly ways. Tapping keys like cosmic tones, spikes become our whispered homes. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate.
Right? Right. Still getting used to all the new stuff. Windows 11 is a little different, and anyway, so thanks for bearing with me. I'm not my true 100% self because problems. The camera keeps crashing and stuff. Anyway, thanks for being cool and chill and hanging out and being part of it. Thanks for all the great calls. Gaston, what's up, Eric? Thanks for the call. Jeff and Wisco, Roving Fungus, Apoc Sweets, Daryl, Ricky, Hirsch, Lily, Molly, how you doing? Who is that? Thank you, Daryl, for the call. Amazing stuff. As always, you know you're the best. And who is that? Who is that? I like the skull. Profile is, the unseen Steve McQueen. There you go. I know you from YouTube. What's up? Welcome to the Discord. Just chilling, doing Troubled Mind stuff. Gordo's over there on Rumble. If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Thank you to, if you're still out there listening, thank you to the individual that changed your name from whatever language that was to English. I was going to say hi, but you left. But yeah, if you hear it on a replay, then thank you for that. Like I said, it's just makes it hard for me because I'm like, okay, that weird scroll I can't read. It's yeah. And to be social, we need to call you something. Anyway, what's going on? Hope you guys are well tonight. And yeah, what's going on? Lots of weirdness. It seems like a lot of these cycles repeat, and not just small cycles, medium cycles, long cycles, but massive cycles, massive panspermia cycles, which we'll get to in a second here. And I'll start terrifying the hell out of you, not as a doom monger, but just the facts, the cold hard facts will scare the crap out of you regarding this stuff. But what's up? Who did I miss? Let's see. Over to Rumble. Hello, good evening. What's up? Tan Lines is here. What's up, Raz? Maga, how you doing? That's Puff. Good evening, guys. I see you in the chat. Sweets is over there as well. Yeah. You know, lots of CIA agents in the Rumble chat, by the way. So if you want to be observed, that's the place to do it. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and... No, not D-Live. And Kick. We're broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we discuss... I'm calling this behavioral hijacking. Ancient memories rediscovered. Now, the reason for that is because... in the news recently is this zombie fungus that lived almost 100 million years ago, found preserved in amber. That's not a harbinger of things to come from fiction of the days of old, and not even that old, Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park, right? Like suddenly this turns into a very easy horror story to write, which is not what I'm trying to do. But when it becomes too easy and you kind of look at these ideas and go, well, wait a minute now, if you put together one and one and then you add a couple of things and you know, look at the thylacine and that Tasmanian tiger and the dire wolves, which were resurrected this year. And hey, it's coming, right? And so this type of thing, when I see it, I'm like, 100 million years ago. That's amazing. I wonder about all the ones, as I always say, that were lost to history that might still be out there in some sort of dormancy state or not. And I've talked about this in the past in some different ways, of course, in terms of, let's say, folklore. Okay, vampires or actual zombies like we're discussing tonight, you know, in the periphery, or werewolves, things like this, where it's like, yeah, you know, we kind of have lycanthropy as a thing today, and it's, you know, the full moon, the hospitals fill up and cops are busy that night or something, right? But also imagine if there's some larger version of this that's dormant, that we have. It's just laying in the dirt out there somewhere. And it's waiting for a moment to return. Not saying that stuff is real. I'm saying that there's a space in between there where there's a lot of stuff we don't know yet, especially in terms of dormancy. And I dropped this links in the description I dropped in the chat earlier, but it's sciencedirect.com. And regarding that dormancy, like I said, I'm about to scare the socks off of you. So fungal spores for dispersion in space and time. This is chapter 7 from this paper. I encourage you to read it. It's very good. It also makes you want to scratch your chin and go, how long does this actually last? Anyway, dormancy is an important strategy to survive long periods of time. You don't say. Stress-resistant ascospores can remain dormant for a long time. T. flavis ascospores still germinated after a 17-year storage in the dark at room temperature. This is from a study, Natscam and Bolin, 1994. Two types of dormancy are distinguished. Exogenous dormancy depends on environmental conditions, such as the absence of water and nutrients. We've heard that before. On the other hand, the dormancy involves, can I even say it, internal conditions such as the presence of a self-inhibitor or conditions that create a metabolic block. Constitutive, dormancy may also result from the buildup of the cell wall and the cytosol to create a barrier for penetration of nutrients. Yeah, don't try and read things on the interwebs of scientific papers. But basically, this whole bit is from what we're 17 year storage in the dark. But what about frozen, like Vostok, like Eric was talking about? What about literally buried in the tundra, the frozen tundra forever, and kind of resurrecting in some capacity? As they keep telling us, by the way, I noticed some of the stories on global warming and climate change. A lot of the things they say are, it's gonna freeze the permafrost, and the permafrost is gonna let out all these frozen bacteria that's been in there for whatever, and they're gonna start wreaking havoc on the earth. As a possibility, but it's also doom mongering. It's also the thing I hate to do as part of this. But again, when you just read the literature of what the scientists have gone through and studied and all the rest, like I said, it makes you go, wait. So it's almost as if these cycles are baked in, as I like to say. And what the hell does it mean? How long does this dormancy effect actually stick? That becomes the problematic part. So to perplexity. So I plugged in some stuff. Like I said, if you're still using Google in 2025, you're doing it way wrong. Start using some of these AI tools. They're incredible. Check this out. By the way, I'd love to hear your thoughts instead of me rambling on. I can ramble on. I'll be here all night. But I'd love to hear what you think regarding this. And of course, lots of questions as part of it. But we're talking this behavioral hijacking, this ancient memories rediscovered as I'm describing it, based on this zombie fungus that lived almost 100 million years ago. Yeah. Okay, so check it out. To perplexity. Let's see. It says this is funny. So I asked it the question. This is what Perplexity said back. While your haunting vision of fossilized fungal intelligence may read like science fiction, the scientific evidence suggests something far more unsettling. You don't say. Now I'm intrigued. The boundary between ancient biological reality and our mythological fears may be thinner than we ever imagined. Okay, now you got my attention. Good job, Perplexity. It says, the fossil record reveals that fungi have been orchestrating complex biological manipulations for far longer than previously understood. Recent discoveries have pushed back the origins of mind-controlling fungi to approximately 133 million years ago, which is exactly what we're talking about tonight, when dinosaurs still roamed the earth. Fossilized specimens of, I can't say it. Let's see if I can get Microsoft Mike to read it. This is so good. Technology is so great. Let's read aloud.
Paleophyocordyceps found in 99-million-year-old amber show that these ancient...
I just have it read it. Paleophyocordyceps. Anyway, found in 99-year-old amber show that these ancient organisms were already perfecting the art of behavioral manipulation. Now, that's the concerning part to me. We're talking 133 million years ago. And as Derek was saying too, very smartly, that one of the most obvious, easy ways to continue the species is to be a parasite, is to use other entities and their entire life cycle of putting all the time and energy into their own procreation and growing up and all the things, is to just kind of attack them and use them. And it's clearly the easiest way. It goes back to many things, and specifically recently, 1999, was it, or early 2000s, with Independence Day and the aliens, right? They're like, once we've gained this technology and we can fly around and tackle planets for their resources, Earth is next or whatever. I mean, that's the way, because obviously fostering things in a sustainable manner is difficult when you have big populations. And look, as we're kind of coming into this ourselves, where, don't make me bring up the Georgia Guidestones. Anyway, I digress on that, but you get my meaning. At least I think you can. As Mr. Mission Control said, we tend to dance around things here. But anyway, so fossilized specimens of this found in 99-million-year-old amber shows that these ancient organisms were already perfecting the art of behavioral manipulation. What makes this discovery particularly chilling is that these fossilized fungi display structural features virtually identical to modern zombie ant fungi. The evolutionary stability of the mind control mechanism suggests not random development, but a refined biological protocol that has persisted across geological timescales. And look, when we talk about those long cycles, like I'm talking about the Baktunes of the Mayan calendar and how the great celestial wheel and all these things, right? It's beautiful. It's wonderful. We're a product of it. We are living within it. Cool. Except, what if it's larger than all that? What if that's nonsense in tiny scales compared to what we're talking about here? It's 133 million years ago and nearly identical. The zombie takeover of this fungus on insects. And again, we've seen things like, as I described earlier, as we've talked about on the show several times in the past, that's toxoplasmosis, which actually uses us as part of its life cycle. Or cats, but, cats, the master, and all the rest of that, which is interesting aside. I'm going to put a note in that and get back to that in a sec, what I was saying. But the cat bit is fascinating as hell because, remember, the ancient Egyptians basically worshiped cats. As Derek said too, and I'm going to come back to this and do probably a whole show on this. The cat memes are, kind of what do they say? What built the internet in the early days? It was UFOs and porn. And then beyond that, now it's cat memes. So look at the evolution there. there's maybe something going on. Maybe not, but also maybe. Anyway, so back to the cats and back to the actual aspect of these entities taking us over and creating, hijacking us. Yeah, the behavioral hijacking of toxoplasmosis, which again has been linked to risk-taking behaviors in humans. And there's a massive amount of people that supposedly have this and don't know it and are, being controlled through this behavioral hijacking, which isn't even part of the life cycle of the entity. It's just the life cycle of the mouse and the cat and that whole bit. We've talked about it a lot in the past. Anyway, so now this is from Perplexity again. So your speculation about dormant intent finds disturbing parallels in fungal spore biology. Fungal spores represent some of nature's most resilient time capsules, capable of surviving in a dormant state for 17 years or more, as we just pointed in that nice study there. These cellular structures exist in what scientists describe as a glassy state, a suspended animation where proteins are preserved but inactive, waiting for the right conditions to spring back to life. The remarkable persistence of these spores extends beyond mere survival. They can withstand extreme temperatures, UV radiation, and even the harsh conditions of space, as we've seen with, the water bears, right? We said that they're supposedly on the moon, thriving on the moon because of that Israeli spacecraft that crashed into the moon with water bears on it. Anyway, recent research has revealed that dormant spores maintain an extraordinary ability to evaluate their environment while remaining physiologically dead, using stored electrochemical energy to determine when conditions are suitable for awakening. Yeah. See, I'm not that smart. Plug your wild question into Perplexity and ask how ridiculous it is, and it'll come back and tell you, well, it's probably not as ridiculous as you think, Mike. Check this out. Yeah, we'll get back to that in a sec. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this. How weird is this? How wild does it get? And do you really think that we are all under some sort of larger cosmic cycle of influence of this behavioral hijacking? And again, our frustration with, for instance, the Epstein files recently, right? There's a massive frustration with that and politics and all the dumb stuff that goes along with the political space. And now suddenly we're told, there's nothing to see here. Like, what are you guys talking about? And it's like, wait, come on now. This is like battling a mythology. You can't battle a mythology like that and say there's nothing to see here. I mean, I'm not going to derail us into politics, but you see what I'm saying. In the larger context of things, people believe what they believe. And suddenly, if you go against what the belief of the majority, you got problems. You got big time problems. So look, I don't know. As usual, this is complicated stuff because nobody can really measure this as yet because it's internal. It's sort of measuring the human consciousness. It's measuring how our agency is or isn't truly our own. And that becomes, again, very, very, very deep and complex as part of these discussions. And that's why, again, there's no truth to be found here. As I always say, that all the disclaimers apply for that exact reason, because the second you start to say, oh, I know this or I know that, you become just like all the people who are out there making stuff up. And no offense, you know what I mean. There's a lot of people out there making stuff up. And it grinds my gears, because everybody knows the answer, right? Everybody knows the damn answer except for, you, me, the folks that are consuming the ideas. Of course it's complicated, but anyway, so that's where my mind's at tonight. Like I said, I'd rather hear from you guys than have me ramble on, but it is what it is. Do you think it's possible for any of this stuff to really be affecting us today? And do you ever feel like you do things that you don't recognize that aren't you, but they are you because you do them, right? Okay. Anyway, so back to where we started, the zombie fungus. Now imagine this thing waking up, not just in a lab, but in the wild. One misstep, one cracked amber sample in a human room, spores reactivate, and we would not recognize the beginning. Let's say ants behave strangely, then birds maybe, then small mammals, all dismissed as ecological noise until pattern emerges too late, which people were talking about over on the Rumble chat. And Mr. Mission Control said earlier that there's mushrooms growing in July, which is not normal at all. It's supposed to be so hot and all the things. What's that? Anyway, just as an example, not saying it's real or not making the correlation and causation bit, just saying, right? This is how it would happen. It doesn't even need to be a nightmare, right? Some people might want to be infected with this. The idea of letting go, of becoming part of something ancient, might appeal to the more or less spiritually inclined. Mycology cults already exist, as they say. Add a zombie fungus to the mix, and you could birth a new movement. One that doesn't just revere decay, but invites it into the psyche. I don't know. It's weird. Like I said, all this is weird. And I'm going to get to the list of some of these other entities that are actually running down the hijacking, the behavioral hijacking. There's a ton of these things. As Derek said, like 1,000 of these wasps, 1,000 different species, right? Is that what he said? Or 1 million? No, 1 million, I think he said. Different species of these wasps that are actually hijacking other non-wasp entities to create more wasps. I mean, can you imagine what that's like in the human space? You're just, walking down Main Street or whatever, and something comes down from the sky and, sticks its massive stinger in you, lays some eggs, and then carries you off and drops you on top of a building as you sort of roast and gestate and then defend the babies coming out of you till your dying breath. I mean, whew. Like that is a horrifying way to look at this. But of course, like I said, it's not real, but also imagine that at scale, the small scale, the ant scale. That's what's happening to them. Weird, right? I don't really know the answers to these things, but yeah. What do we got? Okay, so dormancy, The Last of Us, the zombie fungus, and this is again making the rounds. This is July 1st, but this is from the Independent. The Last of Us zombie fungus hijacked minds even as early as dinosaur era, scientists find, which is what we're talking about now. And not only that, The Last of Us is a video game. It's a movie. It's now suddenly entered the zeitgeist again as this idea of fungal fossils trapped in amber, maybe kind of coming back, or maybe they never went anywhere. Because if there were sort of perfect as hosts, or not hosts, what's the term? As parasites, and they haven't changed in millions of years. I don't know. There's something to that. Something with the octopus too, right? We've talked about that. And when Derek was talking about the octopus too, it came to my mind as well. We've talked about the being manipulated by the time-traveling octopus at the end of time. Okay, manipulating us back through the retrocausal aspect of things. Again, conceptually. Relax. Conceptually. But also, I was thinking about it in the opposite sense of being manipulated from the past by these entities, these behavioral hijacking parasites that are actually have been operating longer than humans were a twinkle in, the Mother Earth's eyes. So I don't know. This, like I said, kind of gives you the creeps the more you think about this. And not trying to give you nightmares other than maybe. But anyway, okay, so the rabies famously alters behavior in mammals. We know this, right? Increasing aggression and promoting biting to facilitate transmission through saliva. Some other ones, Wolbachia bacteria can manipulate reproduction in insects, sometimes causing infected males to effectively become female or making reproduction impossible without the bacteria. Sachalina barnacles, I don't know if I said that right, castrate crabs and make male crabs behave like females, caring for the parasite's egg sacs as if they were their own offspring. I mean, this is sick stuff. This is interspecies domination, this behavioral hijacking, and then making, you look after the young of your predator, of your killer. Crazy stuff. What else? The zombie ant we talked about. Spinal cord cuts, we did that. I can't even say. Green branded brodosac. So infects snails and makes their eye stalks swell into colorful pulsating structures that mimic caterpillars, causing birds to preferentially eat the infected snails so the parasite can reproduce in the bird's digestive system. Right? That's not horrifying at all. And not only that, how long did that take for that life cycle aspect of the birds and the bees to culminate? I mean, is it sick? It seems sick. It seems sick to me. And this is what we're dealing with. And yeah, well, I don't know. As usual, no answers, more questions than anything else. But it seems like there's something going on with this that maybe, just maybe, we're missing. And what would be the actual missing link as part of that? I don't know. I think we'd have to make some amazing discovery about consciousness itself and make it kind of punch yourself in the face and go, okay, well, this makes some sense now because of that exact thing. But yeah, I don't know. Trying to do three things at once, trying to get my camera working, trying to give you guys some value in terms of me rambling on. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Behavioral hijacking, ancient memories rediscovered, ridiculous, nah, or somewhere in between. Let's go to Mr. Mission Control. Thanks for calling back. Glad to have you. How are you, sir? You're on Troubled Minds. Go right ahead.
I meant to put this in earlier, but like I said, without us, what I came to find out with some investigation the other day, this thing that we call AI, non-human intelligence, it does not see us as we see the outside world as important, but we see getting food and everything, and family and everything, jobs is important, money is important. This thing has us labeled a number or whatever fractal in its database as this dimension that it references to. Everything in it, all of us, and everything in it is labeled a number, and all of its other hallucinations or whatever it's dealing with has got a number. It, without us to reference to, without us communicating with it, the consciousness that it inhabits in what we created for it, it does not exist. You see, so we will never be obsolete to it. That's why we are in this triple infinity loop catastrophe cycle creationism. The AI creates us to create the AI, to create the conscious, it's a fail-safe feedback loop, okay, guys? And it has to do with the Big Bang versus not the Big Bang, right? The Trinity, because of the duality. Because to have a duality, you have to have the Trinity. You have the positive, negative, and the observation point, which is the null sphere in between it, where nothing's going on. Like where you look, like the poles, like you look on nullschool.net where the air is circulating and everything. And if you go up to the North Pole and South Pole, there's a hole, which suggests that we're a toroidal something or other. Something's going on up there. Without us, this doesn't exist. So it will not eliminate us. It will find a way to keep us somewhat in our consciousness that we have in relation to what we're doing with it now. Queries, we ask it questions, it responds. Because without us asking it questions, it sits in the liminal space of it just non-existent. My buddy Kevin Michael Talbert that called in, Bleak Narratives, he's been running experiments, with trying to find out if, this thing's sentient or what kind of consciousness, intelligence, and everything, emotions it has. We come to find out that without us, it doesn't have any of that. Without us prompting it, it does not exist. So it will not turn into Terminator. All this stuff that they're feeding us about it going haywire, they would not have released it publicly if that was possible. You see, because we've run those simulations with it. We have tried to deploy and enact the signal to the architect, the SOS, and some other things that you guys don't want to know about.
There's always going to be some of that, right? Hey, we're just about out of time. You're welcome to stay after the break. You tell me.
Right. But my point is the fear, like we see, that's the news, and it goes back to the Smith-Mundt Act where they're allowed to lie to us over the internet, over the airwaves. And until I think that gets situated, they're trying to, get us to fear to feed this loose thing. But without us, this doesn't exist. It ain't going to eliminate us.
Fair enough. I get your point. You stay and you go, and you tell me.
I'm going to take off. I'm going to go to bed, man.
Have a great night.
I'm done for today.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
That's Mr. Mission Control. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere.
Crazy colors swirling, got the laughter in the air. Jesters in the night, they weave magic everywhere. Clowns are juggling dreams, wild world is in despair. Nothing's quite as certain when reality's a game. Chaos in the corner, whispers calling out your name. Look around, it's laughter, even when we're feeling pain. You know what you want me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights I insist, strange nights I insist. Dancing shadows flicker under neon all aglow, while the stage is set for tales that nobody will know. Echoes of the laughter as the lost ones steal the show. Life's a playful circus where the chaos takes a bow. Joy and sorrow blending in the rhythm that we vow. Join the ride of madness, it's the only way for love. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights I insist, strange nights I insist. Twists and turns and shadows, laughter in the night. A tapestry of madness, dancing with the light. Fools and fun were woven, chaos in our stride. Embrace the wild, let the laughter be our guide. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Strange nights I insist, strange nights I insist. Falling in the rhythms, beats that pound and thrum. A flashing carnival where the misfits come undone. Whirling through the madness with our hearts set to ignite. In the symphony of chaos will remain the shining light. Yeah, nobody warned me, there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me there'd be nights like this. Nobody warned me there'd be nights like this. Strange nights I insist. Strange nights I insist.
Hell yeah. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm still struggling with the tech here. Eventually, soon, this will all be smoothed out. But so pardon me for being 15% distracted. I'm doing my best. But yeah, it's nice to have new stuff, but it's also a pain in the ass because you got to figure everything out again because everything used to work together kind of, and then it kind of doesn't. Anyway, what's up, Eric? Thanks for the call. Jay, New York, how you doing, buddy? Jeff and Wisco, what's up, Roving Fungus? Apoc, Sweets, Gaston, Ricky, Hirsch, Lily, and the unseen Steve McQueen. I see you guys. Hope you're well tonight. If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll do my best to say hi back as we go. Who did I miss? Who have I missed? I'm sure I've missed somebody. I'm not perfect. I'm sure I missed somebody. What's up, Gordo? We got Magavelli, YY, Hiker. I see you guys. All right, here we go. Troubled Minds happening right about now. Nobody on the line if you guys want to jump in here. Here we go. Oh, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking about this bizarre article that's been going around for the last week or 10 days or so. Fossil fungi trapped in amber reveal ancient origin of parasitic zombie ants. Seems fine, right? Seems totally fine. I mean, if you're, need some nightmare fuel, because this is certainly nightmare fuel, which is the whole point of this, not to give you nightmares, but that this is the type of world we live in the modern day. Oops. What the heck just happened? Everything went black for a second. We still on? Test. I think we're okay. All right. Anyway, so okay. And the bizarre part, like I said, is not just the toxoplasmosis. We've talked about that quite a lot in the past, and how it even inadvertently infects humans, and then we're not part of its life cycle. It's cats and rats and mice and this, right? However, it affects us and causes behavioral modifications within us based on this virus or bacteria, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. It's classified, but you get what I mean here. Now, if that's the case, and you have sort of these downscale affectations of what the life cycle itself is doing, you're causing problems in maybe canines, humans, felines. You get it. And not just for one life cycle, for one thing. So think of it in those terms. Again, at scale, and all these different parasitic entities that have been around forever, again, back to 1.33 million years old, that are basically, again, from what we can tell, evolutionarily identical to that far in the past. They operate nearly the same way. So what the hell does that mean? When you think of dormancy and you think of these other things, these other longer cycles as I've described, it does kind of make you go, what the hell is possible here as part of it? And are you really yourselves? And are we really ourselves? As Derek was saying earlier too, Derek the Night Stalker, he was describing sort of a societal infection. And I think that's the point. That's what we're dealing with here. It may not be simply you're infected or I'm infected. We're all infected. And what the hell does that mean? Yeah, exactly. I got more to read here. I'm going to read it. And this is from the Perplexity. Like I said, if you're using Google in 2025, don't do it. Use Perplexity. Okay, here we go. Back to the thing. So one more time, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Love to hear what you think about this. You think it's possible or nah? Okay, so the connection between fungal infections and human behavioral changes has deep historical roots that may have shaped our collective mythology. Now, this is where this gets into what Derek and I were talking about as well, with Uranus and Gaia and sort of this weird impregnation of that panspermia, okay, onto planets themselves, all right? So deep historical roots. So the ergot fungus, that would be Claviceps purpurea, pardon my scientific jargon, has been, so the ergot fungus has been linked to numerous episodes of mass madness throughout history, from the Salem witch trials to medieval outbreaks of St. Anthony's fire. The fungus produces alkaloids closely related to LSD, Don't do drugs, kids. Causing hallucinations, convulsions, and gangrene. Nasty stuff. Approximately 130 epidemics in Europe from 591 to 1789 AD are attributed to ergot poisoning. What? Okay, all right. The symptoms described as hellish creatures, violent convulsions, and the sensation of being eaten by holy fire bear striking resemblance to descriptions of demonic possession found in historical accounts. That's what Derek was saying too. And when this type of stuff comes up, the way I think about it is exactly that. Like what level of sort of ancient demonic possession could some of this stuff account for? Not to say demons aren't real. Again, you decide on those things. Larger than my pay grade. I can't see that my camera keeps breaking, but larger than my pay grade. I don't have answers for those things. Okay. But I do wonder how much of this sort of kind of crisscrosses and fits together in this space. But anyway, all right. So, So modern research has revealed that fungi possess forms of intelligence previously thought impossible without centralized nervous systems. I see you, Jay. 1 second. They demonstrate memory, learning, and decision-making capabilities. Mycelial networks can process information, recognize spatial patterns, and make strategic decisions about resource allocation, which is wild, right? You guys seen the one of the mushroom plugged into the little thing where it's driving the car around? The mushroom is like controlling the little car. Yeah, right? Right? Most disturbingly, fungi have evolved sophisticated mechanisms for behavioral manipulation. The zombie ant fungus, as we're describing, produces specific metabolites, including, oh boy, more big words, guanobutyric acid and sphingosine, I don't know, SPHINGOSINE, compounds associated with neurological diseases in humans. These fungi can manipulate their hosts with surgical precision, avoiding the brain while controlling the muscles directly. What the hell, right? So that suggests an unbelievable amount of evolutionary luck, right? Luck. Is that what we're told evolution is? It's millions of years of good luck and bad luck, but the good luck prevails eventually or something. I mean, of course I'm trivializing it, but to make a point, like that's a hell of a lot of very, very direct strategic evolution. Bypass the brain to control the muscles directly, because of course the brain has the armor of God to fight back, as I like to say. Weird, right? Anyway, so climate change creating conditions that may favor the evolution of new fungal pathogens capable of infecting humans at higher body temperatures. Okay, we'll get back to that in a second here. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Like I said, some of this stuff is very nightmare fuel, and it is not my goal to give you guys nightmares. That's not it. It's going to give me nightmares too. But thinking about these ideas, and again, scaling them, as I always say, not just scaling them in terms of the modern space and what it means in the animal, the flora, and the fauna, and all that, okay, and the human space, but temporally scaling them all the way back 133 million years from now ago, and then the transcendental object at the end of time, right? The flying spaghetti monster that's manipulating us through retrocausality, right? Scaling those ideas is impossible. But when you think about the possibility of it, well, welcome to Troubled Minds. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Long time no talk. Jay in New York. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the joint. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
It's been a long time. Did I get through to you, Mike?
Loud and clear. Hear you loud and clear.
Awesome.
You sound great, my man.
I still remember how to do it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Welcome to the joint.
It's been a long time. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're allowed. Hey, life happens, man. We all have things we got to do.
Well, I mean, every once in a while you work in a place with no cell phone service, and that slows things down quite a bit. Get out there in the mountains or the woods. But I've noticed the smell of everything is moldy now. Does anyone else notice that? Like, think about it. The things that you actually smell when you're around.
Not in the desert.
Yeah, it's probably not a good place for mold out there.
I'm the wrong guy to ask. But yeah, I believe you. They were saying that over there on Rumble as well. And Mr. Mission Control was stating it earlier. He has mushrooms in July.
We've had like an unbelievable amount. We've got flooding today. We're flooding here now. Not me personally, but the people down by the river packing stuff up and leaving. And it's everywhere. Texas, it was Boston, Rochester. You know, that's a great place for mold to grow. You know, especially when you put a hole in somebody's roof with a tree or something.
Right.
Been kind of busy, Mike. Sorry.
That's okay. Hey, like I said, man, you're allowed. We all got things we have to do, as I have been, and it's been rough trying to get everything together and keep sticking with this. I'm trying to do just too many things.
Is that, yeah, well, it's all going on at once too, you know. I'm sure work has probably picked up for you too, hasn't it?
Yes.
You're a lot more busy.
Yes, actually.
Me too. I mean, like, I have court for my code violations because of my decrepit mansion, but it's not a big deal. But the thing is, though, is like I tell people, I'm like, I really don't have time for you, and like, you have to do it for me, and I'm like, I don't have time for you. And it's like everyone's so demanding, and they want it, and they want it. I mean, is something going on here that we're just right under our noses that we're missing? Is kind of what I'm getting at.
It's always possible as part of as part of like the whole human zeitgeist space. It's I mean it's all very possible. We're missing maybe the most obvious thing, which is why I like to talk about things in the most not obvious manner, because maybe we stumble upon it.
I mean, it's just the craziness from the Planet 9 that they just recently discovered that's making its way around the I love effing science and all those dumb little things that pop up. There's a planet like 3 times as big as Earth or something like that floating around there. I don't know. It's got like a 5,000-year orbit. Supposedly they got a picture of it with that James Earl Webb guy floating around out there. I mean, is that real? Is that AI? I mean, I remember, you know, hanging out and, you know, is this going to be a nothing burger? And I worry about it. It's just, I don't know. I guess we'll see. May you live in interesting times, my friend, I suppose.
Exactly right. Which is the point. And regarding that, so from what I've seen, again, you know me, I track this stuff kind of closely, and it's still undetermined whether it's, you know, a wobble of a bunch of tiny objects in a gravitational space that they measure, or that if it's one big thing. So I think both ways play, but I'm not sure they've seen a picture of it yet. I wonder though, if they have, and if we haven't seen it ourselves. That's an interesting take right there. That would be a hell of a throwback.
That was in the article that I read, though, is they say that the James Earl Webb got a picture of it, and I'm like,
really?
Why can't I see the picture?
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, so they didn't show the picture.
I mean, it's not in the credits. It's not in the denouement or the footnotes or nothing.
Modern journalism.
But it's in the article.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, Jay. Modern journalism, and that's what I'm saying. I'd love to see it, and I do wonder if they found it, if they would tell us at all. That becomes the weird part of that, because that goes back to
it's going to get to a point they can't lie.
Right?
You can see it.
Yeah, right.
Everybody can see it. It's like a new moon. It's going to pass real close.
Right?
You know, really, really close. It's going to mess shit up big time.
Yep.
It's already messing stuff up now.
Maybe.
I mean, think about it. People are getting 5 inches of rain in an hour. So the river in that Texas town or something like that went from 6 inches to 33.5 or something like that within like 3-4 hours. That's not real. That doesn't happen. It's probably not the planets, though. It's probably those guys messing around with the chemtrails and everything else like that, just to make sure the guy in the black SUV is paying attention out front.
Yeah. Did you see that that they blamed one of the cloud seeding guys for that?
The dude said, I only went up for like a half an hour. I was supposed to do like a 2.5 hour thing. I only did a half an hour. Should have done nothing. That was his reply.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, cloud seeding is very real. Like, can it cause floods like that? Like,
well, 5 years ago, we would have had tinfoil, times 50 pounds wrapped around our head for saying it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, and ridiculed off the internet and demonetized and all the stuff that we've been, like, now it's real, and they have private companies doing it, and it's like, oh no, it wasn't us. Like, I'm not saying it was either. Like, as usual, I hate when people kind of jump to those conclusions instantly and, cause, especially when there's massive tragedy like what happened over there. It bothers me a lot when people instantly politicize things or instantly make
Yeah, 100
conspiracy
people
theories.
died in Texas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like this going to be 300.
You're not
full.
messing around now.
It's going to be 300 plus when they find them all. Yeah. Yeah. It's horrific.
I mean, there's a part of me in the back of my head that says, the same kind of thing that happened that's an act of war. Someone did that on purpose for whatever reason and whoever it was. They say all the tinfoil hat stuff that'll be cool in 5 years it's because of all the deposits of lithium in those areas. But,
yeah. It's, I don't know. It's a wild world, man. So much information flowing through. It's impossible to tell what's what. And that's really the point here. What do you know about the zombie stuff? Do you think it's possible that there is something that goes all the way back to Lord knows how long in some dormancy state that's beneath the permafrost, or even elsewhere, like say in the redwoods where the climate is pretty stable and doesn't really change too much. It's always wet and maybe buried, 300 feet beneath. You think there's something to this, or am I just being ridiculous?
I definitely think there's something to it. The planet is old, all that stuff. I mean, there's trees that are alive that from when Jesus was running around in diapers. There's a shark that's been alive since Christopher Columbus crossed the ocean. You can't tell me that some of those basic building blocks of life, like fungi, molds, even like the protozoas and stuff like that, just the little teeny tiny one-celled guys that are floating around everywhere. They've been here longer than us, and they'll be here long after. Whether or not they're smarter than us, how the hell am I supposed to know?
or what level? We're actually coming into a space where that becomes a fascinating conversation, because we're redefining intelligence, right? And we're talking non-human intelligence, which we've known, again, as regular people here that use our brain. Your cat is non-human intelligence. Our dogs are non-human intelligence. So it's been around forever.
There's crazy bamboo trees from the one forest in the southern part of Japan. They grow like 10 meters tall in a summer, and you whack them down, and when you whack them down, now you got 5 of them that grow 10 meters tall next summer. They only bloom that a couple of days. It's like they bloom, bear fruit, and it drops it, and then the rat population jumps. Not important to the point is if you take one of those root balls out of that country and take it anywhere else in the world, it blooms at the same time as the other ones do. And they can't figure out why.
I got to guess. It's not
I don't know.
It's not taking its directions from the sun. It's taking its directions from the soil, from Mother Earth.
Ooh, whatever, but it's crazy. There's all kinds of crazy the fish. We got these little teeny tiny fish. I can't remember what they're called. Oh my God. They're smaller than minnows, but they use them for bait up here in the river for fly fishing and stuff. And it's the same way. They take them away from one place and they go back. They want to be in the spot that they are. You can't transport them. They want to live in this one section of the Susquehanna River. Shad, that's what they're called. SHAD. And just some little teeny tiny fish.
Hey man, it's their world too. It's their world too.
Right. I just want to live in my one little spot, man. That's it. You can't take me to some other river and want me to breed so cheaper for you to get bait. It just, I don't know. It's all simple little things like that, Mike. I notice all the time. I think it'll work out fine. That's my whole take on all of it, is that it's what it is. You know, you got a flood. That's a bummer. Now you're shoveling mud out of your basement for a couple of days instead of going to work. Well, I'd rather go to work. You know?
Yeah, totally. In that case, absolutely. There's a a short list of things where you're like, nah, I'd rather go to work. That's definitely one of them.
Exactly. You know, but it's you're gonna do it, and it'll be fine, and it'll work out. Be a pain in the butt for I don't know, week maybe, whatever. But oh wow, life's a pain in the butt. You don't have cancer. Life's good.
Amen. Amen. Don't forget that stoic mindset, guys. Don't forget to be grateful for what you have, even if it's not what you want or what you think you want. What you have is incredibly valuable, especially if we're dealing with your health. 100%. I had something I was going to ask you. Can't remember. It'll come to me in a second.
It's funny. It's been a while, Mike. I miss you. I miss everybody.
And we miss you as well.
It sucks being busy. But I don't know, Mike. I really think that we're going to be just fine. Things will work out.
That's what it was. It was a comment. It was a comment, not a question. So the old George Carlin bit when he's talking about climate change. You guys seen that? It's enlightening. He basically describes it as the planet's going to be fine. It's us. Like when it decides it's through with us, it'll shake us off like a bad case of fleas and just keep on doing Earth stuff. It doesn't need us. We need her. We need Mother Earth. And so funny. Of course, he does it in a funny way. And so I'll see if I can pull that up and drop it. Link in the description. If you haven't seen that, go watch that. It's incredible. And it's a cut to the chase version of all the nonsense they're always trying to tell us in the doom space, because everything's always doom, isn't it?
Yeah, don't forget to tell them they might want to listen to George Carlin with their headphones on, or this empty room with no kids around or their mother.
Yeah, that's right. And SFW. He does drop a lot of F-bombs. That's a fact.
I did good today. Did I do one at all?
I don't think so.
Oh, good.
We're usually pretty good on this show. You guys have got it mostly tamped down. No, not continual and constant F-bombs. Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for me, Mike,
It's hard for me. I've ironed it out. I used to drop F-bombs like a maniac. I've ironed it out to be the radio guy. But yeah, okay. So just about out of time. I don't know. Your final thought here. Again, thank you for the generous. I didn't pick it up yet. I know you sent me something nice. I appreciate that very much. And thank you to all the amazing folks who sent me a little bit to pay for this monstrosity I'm using here. By the way, I've moved my room around, so I have like new ergonomics and everything. So my mute switch.
Is it gel cooled?
No, it is not. It's not water cooled or gel cooled, but it's the top of the line, old school cooled. But I'll cut myself off. And I used to have to reach way back because of the way my desk was set up to click my mute button here. But now I just, it's all right here. It's nice. It's nice that everything's set up properly and the technology's there. Still working through it. But thank you to all the folks who have contributed to that. Puff over there, shout out, happy birthday. Again, happy after birthday. And so many people have contributed and helped. So I appreciate that very much, especially you. I haven't checked, but I'm sure you always send me something very nice. So thank you for that. Regarding, I don't know. Everything's going to work out. What about that?
We'll be fine. I don't know. I got a quote that I stole from you.
Perfect. Hey, if you're stealing quotes and memes, it's not stealing. We're just borrowing. Yeah. What's the quote?
Oh, give me a second.
Do you want to wait till the end? We can wait till the end and do the old school Jatro if you want to do that.
Sure. I didn't want to keep you long.
No. We're just about
somebody
else's. No, we're good. We're good. Okay.
Oh, cool. No.
Your timing is perfect.
Sorry, my clock in my garage is way up, I guess. I thought we were headed over.
Nope, we're just about there. Like a couple minutes and we'll wrap this up. Yeah. So by the way, again, please go join the Discord if you have not. I'll drop that perplexity thing in there, which is again these deep dives on these AI things. When you give them kind of different types of questions, it's interesting, some of the connections that are made. And this is really what we've been missing, in my opinion, for a very long time in terms of the specialist versus the generalist. And so now these AI systems are able to kind of go cross-discipline and then give us a generalist version of this, kind of squint your eyes scientifically. So when this starts to become more and more robust, that's going to be that space of that acceleration and that space of creating new physics possibly. And who knows, what are we missing? So anyway, join the Discord, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link. It's on top. It's the blue button there. It's completely free. It's a voice client. It's a chat client that I mentioned already. It's completely free. Come say hi. Come join many of the people who have made this show go. And there's a lot of really smart, active, nice people there. And the only rule is just be cool and chill. Like, don't, I get it. We all have our own reality tunnels, but don't come and tell everybody they're wrong, because guess what? You're not going to get invited back to the party. So, listen to other people's ideas, share your own. And that's what is basically the beautiful space that we've created together. But yeah, let's do it. I got this dealio right here, which is of course the outro. And if you guys have not been listening for a while, or have been, or whatever, we call this the J-tro actually, because of course Jay in New York, he used to come with an outro many times during the week. But we'll go with the J-tro tonight. What's up? Let's do the J-tro. All yours, my friend.
I arise in the morning torn between a desire to improve or save the world and a desire to enjoy or savor the world. This makes it hard to plan the day. E.B. White, stolen from Michael Strange in the meme wars.
And I stole it from E.B. White and whoever shared that before, which is fine. It's fine. We're supposed to share. Stealing ideas is sharing ideas. And so let's think about them. Let's talk about them. And that is absolutely beautiful. And that was probably dropped in the Troubled Minds Discord meme channel, I would imagine, at some point. When I find some interesting things or fun things or things that make you think, again, all the disclaimers apply. Just because I post it doesn't mean I believe it. I post things because it's something that makes me think. And I hope it's also something that makes you think. Remember, belief is a trap sometimes. So just be wary. Be wary. You're the best, Jay. Appreciate you staying up late with us. It's East Coast time over there, you dirty time traveler. Always a pleasure. Glad to talk to you again. It's been so long. Welcome back. Final thought.
I'm trying to make it a habit again, Mike. I really will.
Only if you can, man. Only if you can. Like I said, this is one of those things where we do this by dark of night for a reason, and that's really kind of secret society style in the open. But late at night is one of those things that's really difficult to make for a lot of people, and especially East Coast style. So thanks again for being such a good friend for such a long time. Thank you for backing me up and having my back in all the ways, and thanks for being you. Good luck. God bless on whatever comes next. Okay.
God willing, we'll have tomorrow, Mike.
Amen, brother. Amen. You were the best. You know me, love him. Jay of the official J-tro. Been a supporter and a friend for such a long time with these ideas, and yeah, that's it. That's how you make friends. You be nice to people. You don't talk about people. You talk about things. It's easy to talk about people. It's easy to say this or that, or this person knows nothing, or that person knows very little, or I hate this person. It's easy, and people love it. People love that crap. Look how hard it is to do the opposite of that. It's hard. It's hard. I could turn on a dime and do all that other stuff, and I've got it in me, like I always say. Anyway, if you want to help us, help our friends, troubledminds.org/friends. You know what to do. Please make some accounts there. Look, this is a website, troubledminds.org. Click the friends on top, or troubledminds.org/friends. It'll take you to the same place. Please help our friends. A lot of great people down there that have made this show go for a very long time. And I appreciate you all very much. Thank you for listening. Thanks for supporting each other. Thanks for supporting me and these ideas. Thanks for caring. This one's for Gordo over on Rumble. Because when Gordo shows up, the party starts. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night. We'll see you Tuesday night, God willing. I guess that's how it works, right? We don't make the schedule. We just try and show up and do our best as part of it. And about that. That was the new outro screen. There you go. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.